Hey, how's it going? I decided to jump on here tonight. It's pretty late where I am. Hey buddy, how's it going, Chase? And yeah, I decided to jump on here late because I know some of the guys in North America are still up and whatever, but I figured people in Europe and whatever might touch base with me. One of the reasons why I'm jumping on too is YouTube seems to be doing some sort of weird algorithm thing. So since the glitch a couple of days ago, it seems like people aren't seeing my videos or something. So I thought I'd just jump on here and squash that, you know? So yeah, how's it going, guys? So yeah, I just want to shout out to my Patreon supporters. I got 5 now, so I basically am happy about that. It's just a few bucks a month, but at the same time, it does help me be able to do these things for you guys. So like I said, include those guys in your little prayers at night. 100 grams of carbs a day, now losing fat like crazy. Yeah, it depends on your metabolism, depends on how many carbs you need. But yeah, I mean, 100 grams of carbs can be pretty low depending on your metabolism for sure. You know, I don't really count carbs or anything. I don't count macros. I mean, the only thing I do count is my protein. And then when I get serious for a bodybuilding show, or say, you know, that's been years since I've done that, but say I really want to lose body fat. Like for instance today, okay, I'm going to talk about what I ate today, okay? So, and I'm going to make a video on this. I actually started filming it yesterday. So I want to ask you guys a couple questions. So this is going to be a question and answer, but I'm also going to ask you guys some questions tonight, so maybe you guys can help me out a little bit here. But what I do is, you know, when I'm trying to build muscle, I eat protein and carbs, and I do that 4 or 5 times a day. And then I'll sprinkle a little bit of fat in there, or maybe some from cashews or avocado or nuts here and there. Or maybe I'll have a little bit of a cheat with the carbs, like some pierogies or something like that at sushi. But I have about 4 or 5 meals a day like that. That's basically what I stick to. So I'm not even really counting a lot of stuff. I really simplify the crap out of it. Now, what happens is when I see what's happening with my body, then I may make an adjustment. I'm like, oh, I'm putting on a little bit of body fat now. Okay, so maybe I got to cut back on my energy fuel a little bit. So one of those meals, maybe I won't have so much carbs and I'll replace it with more protein. That's really what I do. And I kind of watch my body. It's like the weather, right? You take an umbrella when it's raining outside, that's what you do. That's kind of how I do it. But I don't necessarily measure with grams or calories. So I basically, it's just kind of like putting your hand on a hot stove, you know? If it's too hot and it's gonna cook your hand, you take your hand off or you adjust the temperature. That's exactly what I do with diet. And I think a lot of guys could really benefit just from doing that. So I think oversimplifying things at first is a good thing, and then from there you can start to play around with those ratios, right? So for today I had sushi. I'm actually going to put this in a vlog. So my next vlog I'm putting up, so I don't know if you know what kind of content you guys like, or if you're actually watching my day in the life type videos. But in my day in the life type videos, I actually talk about this. You see what I'm eating, and I talk to you about what I'm eating before I go to the gym, and then as I go to the gym. So it kind of gives you an idea holistically what's going on, rather than me talking in theory all the time. So for instance, today I had some steak, chicken, and rice this morning, or you know, my first meal, right? And then I went and had sushi. I had 2 tuna rolls, and I had some pierogies with that, the gyoza it's called, like a dumpling or whatever. And then I had some protein bars and things when I got home because I just wanted to carb up a bit. So I had a couple protein bars and I had some rice cakes, which I haven't done for months. Like I've totally stayed away from that kind of stuff. But high glycemic carbs after a workout aren't necessarily a bad thing. But if I was on a cut, I wouldn't be doing this, just so you know. So, and then after that, I had some chicken and rice again. So I'm at about 4 meals today. So I'm going to probably have to have another chicken breast before I go to bed or something. But that's about it. That's really my meals for the day, right? So, and of course, like I have some coffee or a non-fat mocha or, you know, stuff like that here and there, right? Yeah. No, if you're only sleeping 6 to 7 hours a night, I'm not surprised that you need a nap. And yeah, when you go low carb, you will notice that you might be tired. You will actually shut down a lot because your body needs to actually get energy from other sources. And carbs are an immediate fuel source, where fat is not an immediate fuel source. Fat, it's much more of a slower burn. So a lot of people out there are saying high fat, high protein diet because it helps your testosterone, all this kind of stuff. But it does run your energy differently. There's no freaking way you would ever be able to be a cardio athlete and have a high fat, high protein diet and still perform at the same level. That's for sure, right? Yeah. Okay, so Marvin Payne's what to do for shoulder pain, man. Well, I talk about it in all my videos, Marvin. Have you seen any of my videos? Have you watched any of them? So if you watched any of my videos, I talk about what to do. I have a video on there. It's called What to Do with Injuries. What do you do about injuries, right? How to handle injuries. So, okay, good. Marvin, if you could do me a favor and watch all of them, like, because there's pieces of advice in every single video. Even if the title doesn't match, I give like a lot of stuff. So I'm probably not really good for YouTube because, you know, YouTube is a simple sort of thing. Everybody wants a title and then they want a question and answer. They want that all in one, and they want the video to last 10 seconds because people just go to the video to answer one question. But if you watch a lot of my videos, you'll get a lot of these answers as well. So there's a number of different things to do with shoulder pain. One of the biggest things is to get some massage therapy. Honestly, because massage therapy will help the functionality of the muscles, and if the muscles aren't functioning right, then what's happening, the shoulder's trying to move twice as much for everything it needs to do. So if the shoulder blades aren't moving forward and back, what happens is now the shoulder has to move twice as much, and now you're getting grinding of the joint, or you're getting some sort of jamming, or muscles are getting overused, all that kind of stuff. So massage therapy really does help. Rotator cuff injury rehabilitation, like rotator cuff exercises and stuff, that helps too, because what happens, those muscles wrap around the shoulder and they basically, yeah, foam roll is one thing, and that's good, but foam rolling is different than you trying to claw the ceiling because you're in so much pain because that massage therapist has got your muscle, you know, so tied down with a little thumb or a little finger. Okay, so foam rolling is like comfortable massage. But once you get into real massage therapy, it's like, it's not necessarily that comfortable, especially when you're getting into those tender areas. So most people wouldn't be able to work on themselves in the way that they need to in order to get the rehabilitation. But foam rolling is great for you know, maintenance, and it may help with blood flow, and it may help take care of some of those superficial trigger points. But the ones that are really, really bad, you won't do it with the foam roller, right? Because some of the muscles are so deep, they're underneath. Right, like everybody thinks, okay, there's a muscle and then there's a muscle, right? But what they don't understand is that there's a muscle, and then that muscle lays on top of this muscle, and then there's another layer, and this is how this tissue is in the body. So if your knot is close to the center of the body, okay, so say this is really deep, then you got this muscle here, this muscle there, and then another muscle here. But when they press on here, it's all cushioned, so they can't really get this deep trigger point. So that's why sometimes some naturopaths are really good at this too. They can get in there with an acupuncture needle, and they can actually unspasm that muscle so that way functionality can be restored. But ideally, what you want to do, I don't know what SARMS is. I think I have an understanding because somebody was talking about it, and I'm pretty sure it's not natty, actually. But yeah, pressing is good, Marvin. Pressing is good, but the thing is you also need to make sure that you have your rear muscles that do this, that are also strengthened, so that way there's a balance between the front and the back. So that really makes a big difference, right? Just so you know, Marvin, I used to charge $100 an hour for this, so you're getting actually some pretty good advice here for free. So, okay, let me see. Okay, so Tristan Pitzer. Okay, nice. Okay, you got the Adidas shoes that I have on my website. Okay, nice. Okay, arm blasters. Okay, just 1 second. I'll answer one thing at a time. Okay, so those of you guys out there that might be watching this in the future or now or whatever, the Adidas shoes link, I have a link to the Adidas shoes in the description of this video and on my website, naturalgallantbodybuilding.com. So if you want to get those Adidas shoes, they're awesome for training legs because they're so flat, and they look pretty cool too, so you can wear them 24/7, but I just love them. I mean, I've been wearing the same, I mean, you see it in my videos. These two pairs of shoes I've had for, I think, 2.5 years now, and I wear the shit out of them. Like, I don't take care of my stuff, and they've actually lasted. They've been really good, so yeah, it was a good $100 that I spent on these things. I think I got lucky though, because I've been looking at them online. I've been trying to find the suede ones, and I can't find them for the same price, and I can't find them in my size half the time. So anyway, let me know if you guys find some shoes that are in really good colors or something, because I like the bright colors, right? So arm blaster, I never do the arm blaster. I'm thinking you're asking about that little harness there or whatever, and then you curl. I never do that. I did it a couple times when I was a kid. I didn't really like it too much. I don't know, I like to get my shoulders back because that helps stretch out the bicep brachii here, and it's just the way I'm built, you know what I'm saying? Like when my arms are back, I get that stretch, and most people notice that. If you look at C.T. Fletcher's arms, they're huge, and his favorite thing is the T curl on the incline, you know? So stretching out those brachii really makes a difference. Do I think shoulder press and bent over rows are good enough for overall shoulder and upper back development? No, not necessarily. I mean, the thing is that you need to have variation, and variation isn't always just from the main muscle group things, you know? Like, I think the basics like bent over rows, squats, and overhead presses, you know, these things are great, and I think they contribute to a great amount of the overall mass. But it is a good thing to blend contraction and stretching exercises. So the squeezing exercises are still good. Like say I'm doing bent over laterals and I'm doing the external rotation, then sometimes I'll do a bent over lateral and I'm not externally rotating and I'm coming more back here. These all work different muscle groups, or some of the same muscle groups, but different muscle groups hit failure first at the end of the set. So it will change the shape of your physique. But overall, yes, overhead presses and bent over rows, you stick to those as your main basics, but I think it really helps to have some variation from time to time in there, at least once a week or twice a week, okay? So that's why you see me do these different things. So whatever it is I'm doing, that's what I believe in, right? I always find it funny, like some people come on my channel, even today, somebody's saying, oh, you'll never build a chest like that, or you'll never build muscles like that. I'm like, well, apparently I did. I did build some muscles. Like one guy's like, hey, you're swinging dumbbells all over the place. What's wrong with you? You're such an idiot. You don't know how to build arms. I'm like, actually, I do know how to build arms. Look at my arms. You know what I mean? I did build them. That's how I built them. So yeah, if you want to get an idea of what I believe in, just watch my videos. That's what I believe in. So Chase, I know you know this because you bought a couple of my programs and everything, but yeah, I find that there is a lack of intelligence on the internet. Have you guys noticed this? Like people will watch you do something and then they'll see that you get a result doing that thing and then they'll say, that can't work, that doesn't work. I'm like, well, actually it did. So what are we fighting about here? What are we debating about, right? So yeah, it's just an interesting phenomenon, the internet, eh? Okay, so Crimestein is saying our mass gainer shakes okay. Yeah, Marvin, no problem, man, no problem. So I'm glad that I'm able to help you out a little bit. I'll get back to you in a second too. And if you want to support this channel, you can go to Patreon. Okay, so the link's down below to that too if you want to support me somehow or help me make more of these videos and live casts for you guys. Okay, Crimestein, mass gainer shakes okay to get 1,000 calories. He gets 1,000 calories a shake. Doesn't have much time to eat big meals during work days. I don't know what kind of work you're doing, Crimestein. So if you're doing, and what your goals are, right? So say if you're a super skinny dude and you want to become a fat mess, then I'd say, yeah, Burger King and just drink down olive oil and do some mass gainer shakes, But if you have a fast metabolism and you feel good, this is the thing. The most important thing is like, what's happening? Like, what do you experience? Because I could say mass gainer shakes are shitty, or I could say they're good. But what's really the most important thing is how are you feeling? Like when you go to the gym at the end of the day, what's happening? And is that different than if you just drink protein shakes during the day? Do you notice something different with that? And I think this is probably a better way to approach it rather than me just answering a question blankly, like just straight across the board, mass gainer shake, drink that because you don't have time to eat. I would say protein would be the most important thing, and with a little bit of carbs would be good too, right? So if you have carbs and protein throughout the day, that would be the most ideal sort of scenario. But like you said, you don't have much time to eat, so you want to be sipping on a shake and maybe grabbing a couple dates or some sort of mobile food, because there are mobile foods. So let me know what your goal is here, because if you don't let me know what your goal is, it's kind of hard for me to tell you what to do in your diet. Because if I get one guy and he's on a lower carb diet, he's on higher fat, higher protein, I'd say, hey, have a bag of nuts with you all day and just chew on those cashews or almonds or whatever. And then that'll be a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat that'll tide you over. And then you can have a protein shake as well. So now you're on the protein and fat diet, right? And you might only have a little bit of carbs every day, but then your diet primarily is on protein and fat, because then you can actually obtain a stable blood sugar level with greater convenience. And that's why I think some people do the higher fat, higher protein diet, because it's more convenient. I'm not saying it's better, but it is an option for people that want to stabilize their blood sugar throughout the day. Okay, Marvin Bain, thanks for answering my question, man. It helps a lot. Been rowing and focusing on rear delts. It's been helping. Do you think with time that balance will be the cure? Yeah, I mean, when you row, you don't really want to focus on rear delts. You want to focus on back. That's really what rows are. But I mean, if you're doing rows for the purpose of delts, like say you're doing up rows like this and you're pulling to the, then of course, then that's for rear delts. So I guess it depends on the context of what you mean row, what you mean by row, yeah. Okay, so Darian Jackson, what's my opinion on box squats? Do they benefit in the long term? It depends what you mean. Are you talking about bodybuilding context? Or are you talking about something else? But I don't like box squats. I think they're stupid, honestly, because a box isn't a box, right? Like if I'm 5'8" or 7'5", I mean, the box is gonna have to change size. So I see all the time guys squatting off the same fucking box. It doesn't make sense, right? One guy's got to squat and almost touch his scrotum to the floor in order to do it, and then another guy's, he just has to bend his knees just a little bit, right? So it doesn't really make sense. The other thing I don't like about box squats is that people then they go down and then they sit back on the spine and then they come forward. I don't like that. I mean, it might be a valid strength thing for powerlifting or something because they're trying to make sure a person gets parallel. But just so you know, whenever your spine is stabilized and you've got a lot of weight sitting on your neck, okay, that is a herniation of a disc waiting to happen if anything happens. You see, when your ass is not touching the bench, your knees can bend or straighten and kind of give that little bit of a shock absorption, but you can't do that when your tailbone is on the box. And if you hyperextend or something happens or whatever, then it can be an injury. So I wouldn't recommend it. I know some people do the box squat at first as beginners because they want to be focused on bringing their ass back to touch the box and then come back up. And I think for teaching methods that can be effective, but it's not something you should stick with. I mean, ideally you want to learn how to push off the ass in squats. I mean, I know there's a lot of Tom Platz type stuff out there, and there's some guys with awesome knees. They can just push off the toes and somehow they survive. They wear heels in their shoes and all this shit so they can stay straight up and down. But in my opinion, that is not the most optimal way. It's a scientific fact that the hips are stronger joints than the knees. Scientific fact. So why would it make sense to put more of the stress over the knees? That's really, it seems silly to me. So unless you're not getting any knee pain whatsoever from doing that, then I would say make sure that you are pushing through the hips, through the middle of the foot. And that is a more effective way to really recruit the legs without beating the crap out of your knees, right? It's all based on the individual though, of course. So Crimestein, 165.10, similar. Okay, don't have a fast metabolism. I want to be where you're at, around 200, big muscles. Yeah, I'm about 5'7", 5'8" at 200. So yeah, you're gonna have to probably be 220 there, big guy. But at the same time, you don't have a fast metabolism. So I would say, ideally, yeah, liquid protein would be the best. And then I would have some sort of carb with you, like dates. Like dates can be a carb. Or beef jerky is actually a really good protein. You could do beef jerky or salmon jerky or something like that, have that in your pocket. What kind of job are you doing? Are you fighting crime? Is that what you're doing? What kind of job are you doing? Because that will also depend on what kind of things you can get away with eating while you're working, right? Marvin Payne, you're saying you do push-ups and they don't hurt. Does that matter? Well, it's good that they don't hurt. But something is hurting. You said your shoulders are hurting somehow. So if something's hurting, then that means something's not moving properly or something needs to be addressed. So get some massage therapy on there. Like I said, start working on some rotator cuff exercises. Watch my video on the secret to building delts. And I show you a couple rotator cuff exercises in there that I do, and it works really well in building shoulders as well. Half Black Jesus, Smith machines useless. Are they useless? No, I'd say they're good. I don't think they're any better than free weight, although they may help you hit a certain area that you might not be able to feel with the free weight because you're trying to keep the bar from going forward or back, and so you're coming straight up. So I actually like the Smith machine. If you watch some of my workout vlogs, which I highly encourage everybody to do if they haven't so far, you'll see that I use the Smith machine all the time. I like the Smith machine for one-legged squats too. It's awesome for that. Yeah, Crimestein, Honda Factory, oh nice. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you could probably get away with a pocket full of nuts or something, or dates, or if you could drink a protein shake all day, that would be good. A weight gainer, I'm not sure if a weight gainer is really the best option, but like I said, just how are you feeling after you drink the weight gainer all day? Are you feeling all bloated and watery? Are you getting gas from it? Or are you feeling energetic and pumped at the gym? That's a really good sign. Like somebody asked me the other day, they said, do you have to get a pump to build muscle? And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't have to get a pump to build muscle. But if you're getting that fullness feeling when you're in the gym, like it's almost like your muscles are almost cushiony, and sometimes they feel just big, or sometimes they feel swole, like they're, when you do high reps and you get really pumped, it's a good sign that your body is getting the food and the fuel that it needs to go to the muscle. Okay, so that's That's one thing that I'd say. So pump isn't necessary, but if you're feeling flat all the time, it's going to be impossible for you to build muscle because that just shows that your body is drained. It doesn't have enough food in order to produce the tissue that you're looking for, right? I don't know who Kino Body is. Yeah. Okay, so Cameron's saying thanks for the advice on, and it's helping him with his shoulder pain and developing his triceps. Cameron, I'm going to come up with some videos on training tips for shoulders. I mean, have you watched my other videos? Have you watched any of my other videos, Cameron? Are you watching my vlogs and stuff? I need you guys to watch my shit, just so you know. I need you guys to watch it because the thing is that when you guys watch it, it helps get my message out there, helps get my videos out there, and it does help support the channel. And at the same time, sometimes I don't have to repeat myself during a Q&A because I've already said it in one of my vlogs, right? So a couple days ago, I put a video on the internet where I talked about range of motion changing and evolving. So basically, it's good to watch these things because I give a lot of Easter eggs in these things. You know how you have Easter eggs in these video games? I give Easter eggs, like little tips and stuff. Because it's very hard for me to come up with just one title and just say one thing in a video. I hit it from all different angles. I just drop information constantly. So if you can, I mean, I don't know if you guys are bored of my videos or what, but it would be a good idea to watch them if you want to get the information anyway. So I will be doing videos on a few secret tips to activate certain areas. But yeah, in the end, you know, effort is the biggest secret, and eating is another secret, and consistency, right? Those three things are the major things. And then there's some subtle techniques in order to establish that mind-muscle connection that are more apparent to me now based on some of the injuries that I've had from hockey and stuff. I've become aware of the effect of instability in an area and when it's stable and how it does affect how your mind-muscle connection works. Shano 97. I basically have split programs on my website, naturalgallantbodybuilding.com. They're pretty cheap. So if you want to get an idea of exactly what I recommend for reps and sets and stuff, depending on the frequency, that's the best way for you to find out. It's in PDF form. You can just download it and then bang, it's just right there. So yeah, it'll change per person depending on how they're recovering and everything too. So that's why I offer consultations and stuff, because sometimes, you know, you get one guy doing 3 sets and then he's sore for 4 days and another guy does 3 sets and he's not sore at all. So, you know, this is also a way that you ask yourself, okay, how many sets do I need to do, right? If you can barely walk after doing legs and then you got to train legs in 2 days again, well, obviously you might have to back up in your volume. You might have to back off in it a little bit, right? So this is how you make these decisions. But as a general structure, if you want a general structure, I have it all in there, all in those PDFs. Yeah, Crimestein, I've never, like I've said this a million times, Crimestein, so I don't know if I don't know if you missed it or whatever, but you're quite familiar to me, so I've seen you lots of times. I'm going to say this again, I never ever counted calories my whole life. I've never counted calories. Not once did I count calories. Seriously, it just was too much work for me. It just felt like, you know, I just knew protein. I knew a pound of chicken was 80 grams of protein. A pound of red meat was around 80 to 90 grams of protein. I knew egg whites were around 2 to 3 grams or something like that. And then I would just calculate my protein that way. And that was what I would shoot for. And then I would add carbs to each meal, whether it was white rice, brown rice, yams, potatoes, oatmeal. And then I would combine them together, and then I would have my total meals of 4 or 5 meals a day or whatever. That's what I would do. So, yeah, I never ever counted. Never counted. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So I hope I'm clear. Cameron Shull, you watched me do my chest training, right? Have you watched me in my vlogs for the workouts? Because you see me do rear delts, so you just said that you saw me do a lot of rear delts and stuff. Yeah, if you watch my vlogs, you'll see what I do. And it's what I've been doing my whole time. Like people say, oh, do you train differently now? I'm like, no, actually I don't. I train pretty much the exact same as I trained back in the day, except for maybe a couple exercises I've catered or changed around based on what I feel I need more so now. And I'm more careful with super heavyweights and stuff. Like I don't push quite stupidly like I used to. Like I used to just push through stuff until something popped, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh shit, then I gotta recover. So I learned the hard way at an early age, like 20 years old, that's not necessarily always the best way to train, you know? So, yeah, thanks, Chanel. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, so, okay, now it's my turn to ask you guys a couple questions, okay? So, what are the videos that you like the most? Like, and you could just put one word answer. Like, what are you looking for? Like, do you like the vlogs, or are they boring? Like, what kind of shit do you just skim over when it comes up in your news feed? Like, are you skipping over the vlogs because like, oh shit, this is just boring stuff because you're just gonna walk around, eat food, whatever, talk, or is it the workout videos, or are you just like straight tips? That's all you want. You don't give a shit about any sort of relating to me, and it's just Jason, just give me the information and fuck off. You know, like, what are you looking for? I want to know, because it's interesting for me to find out what my audience, because I might start a different channel that is a vlogging channel that's separate, that is more kind of the day in the life type stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, so Marvin just wants to use me for my info. Okay, good. Okay, crime scene vlogs combined with workouts. Okay, good. Okay. Anybody else? Anyone? Yeah. I'll have to put something out. Okay, so Cameron, you like doing different stuff too, like that. Okay. You know, the thing is, I like creating that stuff more. And the thing is, there are only so many tips, guys. Like, seriously, I mean, you can talk all day and you can beat the information to death, but there's really only so many tips I can give before you run out of tips. And then what? Then what are we gonna do, right? You know, so that's kind of been on my mind for the last few years. I'm like, okay, well, I could talk about my training, and I do notice that people ask me the same questions over and over. So it seems like the last video where I answered the question, they don't actually watch it, so I have to answer it again in the future videos. So maybe that's sustainable because of that reason. I don't know. Okay, so crime scene. Okay, Canadian Forest is beautiful. Okay, need more of that. Well, you know, actually, you guys, just so you know, and this is something to talk about. Hey, mate, feed, kill, repeat. How you doing, brother? This is actually something that I want to talk about. Only 25 kilometers or 30 kilometers away from my house, there's a massive forest fire. And we just moved here, right? So all through BC, which is like a state for you guys in the States or whatever, but it's a province, okay, the province of BC, there's like, I think there's around 300 forest fires or something. Like, it's crazy massive amount of forest fires right now. Yeah, Rest Cosmos, it's pretty late. I'm having a late night because I wanted to hit the guys in Europe here, see if there's anybody in Europe that tunes in. And so yeah, there's a massive amount of forest fires. So we're kind of, you know, if you look outside, there's like quite a bit of smoke and stuff. So yeah, I haven't been wandering around the forest too much. Not that it's that close, but at the same time, I've kind of stayed away from it. But I'm going to have to go in there and get some more footage pretty soon here. Oh yeah, you had a month stop working out because of flu, eh? Oh shit, sorry about that, mate. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, the thing is, sometimes, you know, you get sick, sometimes you get the flu, or sometimes shit happens, you know, and then you can't train for a bit. So that's why I make these videos on you not, like I made that video on, are you losing your gains or afraid of losing your gains? I make these videos because this is the most important part for you guys to get your head around, okay? If you are very identified with how you look, it's going to be hell for you. And I know in the social media age right now, and the way people are growing up, you know, nowadays, like a 15-year-old growing up to 30, I mean, all they've known is almost like a public presence somehow on the internet. And there's this almost like narcissistic way that people view themselves, and that's considered normal in some way, where they have to constantly maintain this reputation and the way they look and all this. But if you wish to maintain sanity in this world, I mean, you have to let go of that once in a while, right? So I think sometimes when you get the flu or you get injured or you're forced to take time off work, it's really important for you to just remember that you're not what you look like. You know, just because I might be ugly or good looking, okay, depending on the person that's looking at me. You know, I look at myself and I see good looking, but somebody else sees ugly, so I'm okay with that. But the thing is that I'm not identified with this. This is not who I am. Like when I meditate, I'm here, but there's no thought or an opinion of myself. And it's very important for people to have this, because they think, oh, if I'm not thinking, I don't exist. No, actually you exist even more so, because now you're finally paying attention to what's in front of you. and you're not constantly thinking about it or commenting or being this, you know, narcissist or censor, you know, or I don't know if you guys remember the Muppets, right? But there was those two guys sitting up in the balcony always commenting on everything or insulting people. It's almost like people have those two Muppets inside their head, and they're always like criticizing and, you know, commenting and, you know, comparing and measuring what's good and what's bad. And it's the commenting that kills you. It's not actually the experience half the time. Like if you flexed in the mirror and you never had an opinion of what you're seeing, you would actually probably enjoy it quite a bit. It's only when you start to compare and say, oh, it's not this or it's not that, or I don't look like this guy on Instagram or something, that's when you start to suffer. So I think that men and women of all ages, not just, you know, 15 years old or 12 years old or 20 years old, like people even at 50, 60 years old, they deal with this problem. So it's very important for you to forget yourself for periods of time, you know. Anthony. Lately, you spoke about social media like Instagram and YouTube and how they influence random people. Can you speak more about that? Every day it is getting worse and worse on social media. Okay, well, that's what I'm talking about now. It's not social media that's the problem. Social media has been a very powerful presence in a positive way in a lot of ways. But what it has done also, though, is reinforced people's egos and made them stronger. So people feel the pressure to maintain their projection of themselves, right? And when they are constantly having to reinforce that, it's a lot of fucking work. Like imagine if you were an actor and every day you had to act a role, but you never got paid for it, right? You'd be pissed off. You'd be like, hey man, like somebody owes me some money here. Like contact the acting union or something, right? But that's what people are doing. They're stuck acting a role and having to maintain that, and then they are, you know, crumbling under the pressure, right? Yeah. So, okay, so you're talking about fitness now, Anthony. You're talking about fitness? Okay, so I'll talk about that Okay, so Crimestein, I'm spiritual is very helpful. Keep doing those too. Yeah, I have the spiritual videos. I haven't been doing as many on my spiritual channel because mostly I haven't had a chance to get up in the forest because I'm commuting too much back and forth to the gym. And but I'm still doing those things from time to time. But okay, let's talk about coaching on the internet. So the first thing you have to understand, Anthony, and can I call you that, Anthony? Is that okay? I know everybody's got these long names on YouTube and stuff. The first thing you have to understand is that if you are suffering in some way, like when you see somebody that looks better than you in your own opinion, okay? So when you see somebody on the internet and you're like, oh my God, that guy looks so great. Oh, he must be a fake natty, or he must be cheating with Photoshop or something like that. If that makes you feel a certain way, that's on you, okay? Because this is really the only way you can actually heal yourself, is to basically take accountability for how you feel and then let that go. Because you have an opinion, right? You're having an opinion, and that's reinforcing your own pain, and that's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help you feel better. It's not gonna help you be free. You know, more than anything, if you want to not lose a game or not suffer because of a game, like say you lose a game of Monopoly, right? The best thing to do is just walk away from the table and say, I'm not playing anymore, right? But you're choosing to play a game. So when you see somebody, and then you're seeing that they might be something that you can't live up to, and then you're coming up with a bunch of reasons why they're bad, right? That's making you feel a certain way, but this is a choice that you're making, okay? So I'm not saying that you're wrong. You're probably right about a lot of these people. A lot of them are photoshopping, and some of them are not natural, and they're saying they're natural, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's all true. But what I'm saying is, how do you get free of your own suffering in this? Because that's the most important thing, right? And you're probably a very good person, a great guy in a lot of ways, you know? And the problem is a lot of people forget that. They forget that they're a decent human being, and just because their biceps aren't as big as somebody's or their bank account isn't as big, they somehow devalue themselves, and that's where the problem comes in, you know what I'm saying? So if you're devaluing yourself based on a fucking bicep vein, you know what I mean? Like that's bullshit, you know, because never do I think I'm better than somebody else just because I have muscles, you know what I'm saying? This is just one excuse that I'm using to connect to you guys. And I have taken a fucking beating. Honestly, I'm swearing right now, but I've taken a beating on the internet just to create these connections with you guys, because people are like, oh, Jason, you're ego, or you're stupid, or you're too small, or you're too fat, or, you know, everything that happens on YouTube, right? But in the end, they don't understand me. If they get to know me, then they'll know that I'm not identified with being a bodybuilder, because I've realized the limitation of that a long time ago. You know, a long time ago, dislocated my shoulder, and I wasn't competing, and I wasn't on the cover of a magazine for a few years, and a lot of people that were like worshiping at my feet, all of a sudden they're gone, you know. I am much more than this physical body. This means nothing. This is just a game we play, you know what I'm saying? So you have to remember your value. That's the most important thing. You have to remember that you are valuable, and the only muscle that's important in you is your heart. That's it. And now, go play with the weights, listen to feel yourself to the weights, have fun with them, and make gains, but never let those gains get in the way of you connecting to other people, right? There's so many guys I've seen walk around the gym, and this is probably back in the day, because guys were probably a little bit more egotistical 20 or 30 years ago, but once they had a certain physique or a certain status of some sort, and maybe it was in pro sports, or maybe it was in maybe they were making money or something, or they were gangsters, whatever it is, all sorts of people are in the gym, right? And then they'd use that in order to create a fortress around themselves, and then never connect with anybody, because they're like, I'm too good to be with that person, I'm too good to conversate with that person, I'm too good to help that person. And then they become lonely, and half of them, and I've seen quite a few of them, they end up committing suicide 10, 15 years later down the road, or they die of a drug overdose, or they're in jail and everything, because they're miserable, So I think the thing about social media that is the positive part right now is that we are seeing guys driving around in Ferraris and Porsches, and we are seeing them, destroy their health with drugs just to get muscles or something. And you're seeing where this is leading, and that, hey, wait a second, these people aren't very happy because they're creating this horrible life around them, and they're not connecting to the people around them, and connecting to people, that's the highest currency. That's how you make real money. That's real money, is actually relationship, because in the end, if you have tons of money, the first thing you probably do is reach out and try to put together an entourage, because what's the fun of being by yourself with a bunch of money, right? I mean, it's people that are the most important. That's where the value is. So I think that has to start with yourself. You have to start with valuing this and not condemning it every time it doesn't meet your standard, right? I'm here to teach you and help you gain some muscles and all this, but it never means that you are insignificant because you might not have them, or you might not be lean right now, or you might not be the best looking dude right now in your neighborhood or whatever, The greatest thing that happened to me, actually, in high school, like I've had times where I was king of the world and times where I was not so much king of the world. I talk about this, right? So I think it was a really good learning for me. So any teenagers that are tuning into this right now, that if they're having a rough time in high school, I know what that's like. I had a rough time. Like I got slid across lunch tables, and want to ask a girl out to dance, and get away from me, you loser. These types of shits happen. Lots of this stuff happens to everybody. And one thing that happened to me when I graduated from high school, I went to a small little town. Hey, Paulo, how's it going? I went to a small little town on the other side of the country for my parents' reunion. And my brother and I were there, and it was like every girl in the town was just like looking at us like we were gods or something. It was the strangest thing. It was like I went from a person that was not really noticed to a person that was always noticed. So sometimes it's a matter of you have to see yourself as something special, and then from there you will surround yourself with people that also see you that way, because you see the specialness in them. So anyway, I hope I'm not boring the shit out of you guys so much, but the fact is that this bodybuilding game is a lot more fun when you do it because you are enjoying it, but not because you are saying, oh fuck, I'm such a piece of shit because I don't have big arms. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's not the truth. Like, this is just physical body. That's like me saying I'm wearing a blue t-shirt today, so I'm somehow special, and tomorrow I'll wear a green t-shirt. Like, if I stop eating and stop training, I'll lose a lot of muscle, right? You don't keep the muscle forever. If you stop training and you stop eating, you're going to lose muscle. That's it. Like, we all get old one day, but does that mean we are of less value? No, it doesn't. So understand where your value is, and then what you do with that is up to you. And it's okay, whatever you choose to do, whether you want to be a writer, whether you want to be an artist, whatever you want to be, right? It's 12:30 right here, Jay. Yeah, 12:30 at night, so it's pretty late. So yeah, I'm on the late night rant. I'm gonna start my own late night talk show, I guess. That's what I'm gonna do. The late night Natural Gallant rant. Hey, that's actually a good name, Natural Gallant rant. That's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with that. Yeah. I haven't done this in a while, so I was just noticing that the algorithm on YouTube seems to be screwing me over a little bit on my YouTube channel. So I noticed that people that were tuning into my videos, like I had 3 or 4 videos, and I've been doing videos almost every day for the last 5 or 6 days. I've done a video every day, and I noticed that I was getting 1,000 views, 1,000 views, 1,000 views, then 500 after somehow YouTube kind of it glitched out or something, and my channel erased for a moment, and now all of a sudden it's like half the views for some reason. So I wanted to jump on here and connect with you guys anyway. Have I ever been to Utah? No, I haven't been to Utah. I've been to, here are the places in the States that I've been to. I've been to Arizona, and Arizona's just awesome. I've been to LA, I've been to Miami, Florida. I've been to New York, I've been to Atlantic City, And yeah, that's about it. And well, Washington State and Oregon. Yeah, of course, those two places too, because I've driven through there to get to California. So those are the places I've been. Okay, no Fap King 21. How long did it take for meditating to actually be in the present moment? It seems impossible. No Fap King, if you don't work with a teacher, it is very, very hard. Yeah, this is my home gym. Yes, yeah. It is very hard. I needed to work with a teacher. My teacher is my wife now, but it didn't start out that way. And I wrote a book about her called Awakening with Aratima. And yeah, it's something happened to me about 10 years ago. That's 8 or 9 years ago anyway. That was just absolutely explosive. And then now I can't get out of the present moment. That's the problem. I can't even get out of it, even if I want to. So yeah, something pretty magical happened from that. So if you keep practicing, keep focusing on just being here. And if thoughts are there, don't worry about them. Just let them do what they're doing. Let them circle around you. And if you're feeling feelings, that's okay. Just let those feelings be there, but don't do anything about them. Don't worry about them. Just let them be there. And if you're worried, don't worry about the worry, okay? That's where meditation really starts. And as you sit for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, it'll slowly go up and it'll become easier and easier for you. So it's like you practice being a mountain, right? And letting all these things move through you. So instead of trying to make an experience happen, because so many people do this, they meditate trying to make an experience happen. What you do is allow all the experiences happen. That's real meditation. It isn't about making something happen. It's about allowing what's happening to happen. I remember when I first meditated and I was like closing my eyes, I'm like, okay, I see black. I see black. Oh, great. Okay, good. Okay. I hear something in my closet. What is that? Okay, I hear this little pitch in the room. What is that? Like, I'd be commenting on everything. And after a while, you stop commenting, and then meditation just does what it's going to do. It's actually the easiest thing. It's really easy once you realize that it's all about not doing anything and learning how not to do, because you're constantly doing, and that's actually what's causing all the suffering in a human being, right? You can't shut it off, Felix, Extra Scoop, Psychotic K. How you doing, buddy? Okay, Brandon West, a couple of you guys just tuned in, Jeffrey Romaldi, and okay, a few of you guys are just asking me right now some questions, and you're just tuning in. So what I want to do is ask you guys the question that I asked in the beginning here. What are you guys liking with my YouTube channel so far? What are the videos that you're liking the most? And what are the videos that you're not really liking? And do you prefer that I keep the vlogs? Or do you just want straight information? Or do you like the workout stuff? Do you like it when I do the voiceover for commenting? Like, what flavor stuff is your favorite stuff? So that way I can understand exactly what it is that you guys like and what you're getting something out of, right? Like me, I like making the workout videos and I like making the vlogs because it gives me just a different way of, giving information. And sometimes just because it mixes it up a little bit, it makes it interesting for me to make. But I'm interested in what your experience is. So feel free to let me know what that is. Billy Madison, I've talked about the fasting thing in every single live video I've ever done. So if you haven't tuned in, then I'm going to tell you right now. The whole fasting thing and stuff. Okay, I'm going to get ready for a rant here for a second. Okay, just give me a second. I'm going to get ready for a rant. Okay, let me just read the comments and then I'll get the rant going because I got a lot to rant about here. Okay, Paulo likes the dance moves. Thanks, buddy. Okay, so Felix, you like the vlogs too. That's interesting because I uploaded a video 2 days ago that was a day in the life video, and I got half the views of normal. So I'm wondering what happened. Like, have you guys seen that video? Did you actually see it? Because I was wondering, okay, is everybody not liking the vlogs? Do they find them boring or something? Is that why they're not watching them? I wanted to know. Okay. So just let me know. Okay, oh, no Fap King, you like the vlogs too? Okay. Okay, Jeffrey, you're telling me it's a mix. Thanks, buddy. Okay, cool. Okay, so a lot of you guys are saying you like the vlogs. Okay, so did you guys see the vlog from a couple days ago? Oh, you saw it. Okay. Because I'm thinking, why did I get half the views on that video? I'm like, okay, if I got half the views, that means that people aren't liking it or something. And like, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe somebody's not liking it. Okay. I'm not saying anybody needs to like what I'm doing, but if anything, I don't want to make videos that just bore you to death. So if they're boring you to death, let me know. Please, in the comments, let me know. Okay, Jason, I don't like this part, but I like that. You ramble on too much here. Let me know. It's okay. I can take that kind of criticism. The criticism that I have trouble taking is when somebody says, hey, you're stupid, your training doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't even know what to do with that, right? Okay, so Paulo Almeida, yeah, I have it up. So just check my uploads. I have 2 videos. I put one up today and I put one up yesterday. So I've been going gangbusters here. Anthony the Anthony, one thing, listen. What's that to do with there, Anthony? Elisa Matthews, your vids are okay. Okay, so Static Dream, when you talk about doing 3 to 4 sets per body part, do you do it every day or every other day? It depends on the body part. I notice some body parts seem to recover better than others, okay? So and I'm sorry I say okay all the time. Sometimes I'm organizing my thoughts when I say that, so if I sound like a high school teacher or something, that's what's happening, okay? When I do 3 to 4 sets, that could be daily. And usually when I train a body part every second day, then I can usually do 6 to 8 sets per body part. That's usually around there. Now with leg training, I find that I don't need as much sets because the legs are a much bigger muscle group. It seems like a lot more damage gets done in the lower back and the legs when I'm doing squats and all this. So I find that I can get away with less volume for legs. That's right, Anthony. Yeah, you got my general message there. So okay, so I'm going to get back to the guy that asked me about the fasting. Okay, see, I said okay twice here. This is the problem with live stuff. I've never done, honestly, I've never been a person with a really huge appetite. My whole life, I've never had a huge appetite. So I'm the type of person that'll wake up and maybe not eat for an hour in the morning. Maybe I'll have like just a bite of chicken or a piece of fruit or something and a coffee and that's it. And then I'll eat about an hour after I get up, hour and a half. And that's when I start eating. But as far as going 12 hours fasting or 6 hours, 7 hours, I've never done that. And I've never found that when it did happen by mistake that I felt good. When I go to the gym, I felt flat. I felt gaunt. I had no energy to do my workout. It didn't feel right for me. So I've never been an advocate of that. And I'm not saying that it might not work for you. If it's working for you, then do it. You know, I'm never telling you to do something that you're finding that in your experience is working, okay? So if something is working for you, I'm an advocate for you, 100%. So just because I'm saying it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it might not work for you. But I'm here to say if you're noticing you're not getting results, then this might be why, right? I find that when a balloon isn't filled with air, it won't float. Well, it's the same thing with muscles. If the muscles aren't filled with energy, then there won't be any contraction happening, there won't be a pump happening, and there won't be this freedom that the body feels in order to build muscle. But some of this may be theory, right? Some of this may be theory. So the fact is that a lot of people on the internet right now, and this is going to go in alignment with Anthony there, and this is something that I think is very significant to talk about. Most people on the internet right now are talking out of their asses. And I get this in the comments all the time. What they do is they talk about something that they say works, but it's based on this study, that study, something they read somewhere, a bunch of information they gathered from a bunch of people, but it's not their own experience, so they're speaking out of their butt, okay? So the thing is that when something isn't your experience, if I say, oh, I read this study about, my hormone levels go up 4,000% from not eating for a period of 4 hours or something like that, I'm like, oh, really? Okay, so you actually tested this? You actually got your blood tested and this exactly happened as soon as you went on that diet? Or is this something that you just read somewhere that you're just regurgitating and it makes you feel good about what you're doing, but you're just using this information that is just, could be made up for all we know, right? And I find a lot of people are basing their life on information, but not basing their life on experience. And it seems to be in this realm on the internet, there's this fight going on between the people that have an experience and a person that just is talking about information. And they think they both mean the same, right? So I'll get somebody on my channel say, you can't train like that, Jason, that doesn't build muscle. And then I show them my legs and I'm like, yes, it can build muscle because look what I built, right? That is the truth. Just because somebody wrote an article somewhere that probably never built legs, you don't even know if the guy has legs, and he wrote an article somewhere and put it on the internet, it doesn't make that the truth, And I think a lot of people are listening to stuff like that. They're getting confused. So really what I'm here to do is not condemn anything that you found to be your experience. That's not what I'm trying to do. And that's why when I answer people in the comments and I say, well, that stuff sounds like bullshit to me, but I said, if you notice that it's working for you, if you notice, then by all means continue, okay? Because I'm not here to tell you what your body's telling you, because your body might be different in this particular case. You know, something might be going on that I don't understand or I don't experience. So experience is king. Your experience is king. So if you're noticing stuff, then go with that. And can you refine that experience? Yeah. Can you try different things and experience more deeply? But this channel is about you experiencing. And same thing with my meditation teacher aspect. The worst thing you could do is implant a vision in a person and say, this is what you should experience when you meditate. That will lock them in their mind and it will condemn them. They will suffer forever because they're like, I'm trying to see the pretty picture Jason said I'm supposed to see. And then they're in their mind because thoughts are in the mind. So this is the same thing. If I say, you know, your legs should be working like kangaroo legs or ostrich legs, but they're actually working like a human being, you're always going to be distorted somehow because you're going to be trying to run like an ostrich instead of running like you truly run. So that's really that's really the main message of what I'm doing. I'm saying honor your experience and let's deepen that. How do we deepen your own experience of this moment? And that is where your wisdom will be. Like when I'm doing arm curls and I'm feeling my arms and I'm like, you know, I keep my arms slightly like bent like this and then I have it swing back like this a little bit. I'm okay with that because what people don't notice is that I'm pronating, and when I pronate, you know, do this, then sometimes there's a subtle swing here. Well, that swing not only helps stretch the muscle out a little bit more, but also because my arm's slightly bent, I'm actually using that little bit of swing to stretch the arm, and then when I come up, I get past this little sticking point that might be hard on the tendons, and then I'm getting more of a contraction and a squeeze in the bicep. And my biceps have been growing like crazy from this type of technique. So I was always walking around with the biggest biceps around, and people are like, oh, how do you build biceps? And then I watch them arm curl, and I'd be doing forearm stuff where they'd be like, you know, bringing the bar forward and back and saying, I'm doing full range, Jason, you're doing it wrong. And I'm like, well, why are you doing the bicep curl? Oh, to build arms? I said, well, then why are my arms bigger than yours? Like, what's going on here? Like, can you actually tell me that? And let's deepen your experience here. What are you feeling when you do the bicep curl? And they're like, I don't know. I feel my forearms, I feel my bicep, and I feel my shoulders, I feel everything. And I'm like, okay, well, if you attack life with just a random bunch of accidents, you're not going to get a definitive result. So if you want your biceps to hit failure, wouldn't it make sense for most of the feeling and the burn and the pump and the fatigue to be experienced there instead of in your shoulders? So these are little things that are just going to be so obvious to you when you aren't afraid to experience this moment fully. Emotionally, mentally, and physically. And this is really where the most profound wisdom is. And I learned a lot from other people because they said, it's pretty late, it's like 1 o'clock almost here, there, Nada. A couple other people, you know, they actually taught me some things too because they say, Jason, this is my experience. This is what I'm experiencing here when I do this. And I'm like, oh, let me try that. And then I would have an experience and then I would build upon that experience. So that's the only way I would say you could benefit from other people, is when they assist you with trying something, but then in the end, you have to have your own experience. Yeah, Jeffrey Romaldi, that's so funny because he's saying, Frank Zane, you know, got asked why doesn't he train like Mike Menser? And he said, you know, and he said Mike Menser didn't win the Olympia and he won it 3 times. And that's absolutely true, you know. Frank Zane, you know, to say why doesn't he train like Mike Menser, it's obvious. He doesn't train like Mike Menser because he doesn't think Mike Menser's system works because he's probably tried it, right? I don't know a bodybuilder or an athlete on this planet that won't try every single technique to find out which one is the right one for them. They will try it. And it's not like a fanatical religion thing where they're like, oh, I was born to believe in the bench press. No, they're like, okay, what works? And then they do what works. And when they say, okay, I tried this technique and it didn't work, then they will discard that technique and then go back to what they do know to work, right? So it's so stupid when people say, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Well, the reason why the person is doing what they're doing is because that's what's been successful for them and that is what they have found that works. Like I had lots of guys come on here and say, oh, HIIT system's the best or intermittent fasting's the best and everything's best. I'm like, well, you know, not in my experience. I've tried these things and they did not work for me. If anything, I went backwards, especially with the slow rep shit. This stuff, you know, it felt good for a pump here and there, but I did not get the same experience than when I actually went with the natural power in the muscle, the fast twitch fiber, and I actually curled a little bit faster and stuff. It's maybe slower on the way down, but faster on the way up. And then from time to time, I would do some slower reps. So when I did everything together, I got much better results than just sticking to one kind of rep because that's the right way, right? That didn't work for me. FST7, I don't know what that is, sorry. You know, it's funny, on the internet it's so funny because everybody marks it in abbreviations. So they always like do the 4 letters and then a number or something, and I'm like, I have no freaking idea what you're talking about. So when people ask me questions like that, you're gonna have to spell shit out for me. I don't keep up with all the latest. Yeah, I don't know who he is, Rambot or any of these guys. You know, Anthony. Okay, Anthony, I'm going to tell you this, and I know you're going to probably be applauding what I'm saying here. All techniques work. Okay, all techniques work, but one thing that makes me nervous and one thing that should make you nervous is when somebody says, this is the only way. When somebody says, this is the only way, and I'm not saying this guy's saying it, but I'm saying if he is saying that, run, okay? Run. Because that's not the truth. There isn't just one way. There's many ways to build muscle and many ways to get results. And only through being open will you find the perfect groove for you. Like maybe you need to do, 30-second rest for sets, and then sometimes 2 minutes rest for sets, and sometimes 1 minute. But there's always these babies, okay? And I'm not saying, I don't know this guy, so I'm not slandering anybody here because I don't know this guy. I'm not talking about him. I'm just talking about when you first went to kindergarten and you learned how to paint, okay, on a piece of paper, and the teacher just gave you a paintbrush and gave you green, and then you painted on there, and you're like, oh wow, that's art. That's the best art ever. And then you went home and you showed it to your parents, and you thought, oh, this is art. And then if they showed you a Picasso, you'd probably be disappointed because you're like, that's not art, this is art, right? Well, that's what's happening with a lot of these guys that have only been training 3 or 4 years or 5 years, or maybe they're not natural and they're just kind of cheating and kind of Instagramming themselves up there. And then they're trying to make money by selling their programs, okay? So it's no secret, I sell some programs on my website, but the reason why I sell different programs is because I understand that not just one program works for everybody, there's different variations that are appropriate for each person, and ultimately it's up to a person to really get to know themselves so deeply that they will see which one is the right one, okay? But there is no freaking way that just one technique is the right thing. And there's always these people trying to brand themselves by saying, oh, this is the only thing, this is the only thing. That's bullshit. It's total bullshit. It might be the only thing for their body. That might be true. It might be a very specific thing that really works for their body, but that doesn't mean it works for everybody. But young men or young people that are naive, they like to think that one size fits all because it helped them. And that's the way I started training when I was 20 years old. I won my first bodybuilding show by the time I was 22. I tried to put a few people on the same diet that got me shredded for my contest. I put them on the same training program, and guess what? The results were not the same for them, right? They did not all of a sudden lose body fat like I did because they didn't have the metabolism I did, because they didn't have the muscle mass I did, all these different factors. And these things become apparent to you over time as you get older and as you've been around. But at first you think, oh, one size fits all, right? And there's a lot of stories, like, okay, for instance, like I trained and played hockey and stuff, and there was this girl that I actually helped with a fitness competition, and years later she became a personal trainer. And of course she started to train people for sports performance, and of course this girl went to her for hockey and stuff, and of course this woman, being a fitness competitor, tried to train this hockey player like a fitness competitor and put her on the same type of diet as a fitness competitor, and then expect that she would perform during hockey. Well, lo and behold, on this lower carbohydrate diet, this girl would be going to play hockey, and even though she had lots of strength in the gym and she could do all the movements properly in the gym, when she get on the ice, she'd have no energy and she'd be sucking wind the whole time, right? Well, within 20 minutes, I had this girl totally changed, right? She just talked to me. I said, well, what are you doing with your diet? She goes, well, I'm doing this, do this. I said, well, anybody that's ever played hockey will know that will crucify you on the ice. There's no way you can actually get away with that and then think that you're going to be able to skate faster or recover in between shifts. So I changed her meal plan. Within 1 day, she was on the ice performing like 100% better. Like it was like night and day. It was like hallelujah, like she walked on water. And literally she was, because it was ice. But the fact is that what my point is that people that are naive, that they haven't seen things from different perspectives, they only seen it from one perspective, they won't necessarily be able to help other people that well. So if somebody says their training program is the only way, get a little nervous because they're saying everybody's built the same. They're saying everybody has the same physiology, all this kind of stuff. No, they don't. People don't have the exact same physiology. People don't have the same nervous system. They don't have the same joint ratios. They don't have the same muscle fiber content. There's a lot of different systems in a physical body and a lot of different gene pools to pull from. And you look at two people, just watch them walk down the street. They walk totally different, right? So this will affect which fibers are affected. So say you take a crane and then you have a crane with a longer arm or a shorter arm, there'll be different forces that work on that crane. Now add 4 segments to that crane, you know, add a joint here and a joint there and joint, you know, and have it all balancing. The way those forces are distributed is quite complicated. And when you take a human being and now you have a bicep that's attached here or here, right, totally changes the forces. I noticed that when I tore this bicep partially, right? Totally changed the way I curl, my torque curve, everything. So I'll get some guy making fun of me on the internet saying, oh, you shouldn't bring the elbows forward or anything. I'm like, no, well, I kind of have to because this bicep is attached differently now, right? So these are all these factors that these naive people don't really understand, right? Will jogging 3 miles a day kill my gains? Will Rube Dog, tell me, what are your gains like now? You know, what has happened since you've been jogging 3 miles a day? Were you not jogging 3 miles a day before and training hard? Like, what was happening then? This will give you a good indication of whether it'll kill your gains. So for instance, say you're 200 pounds and you're shredded and you're all strong in the gym, and then you start jogging 3 miles a day, and then 4 weeks later, you're about 10 or 15 pounds lighter, you feel weak as hell, guess what? It's killing your gains, right? You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to watch what happens here. So how long you've been jogging 3 miles a day, what's going on with your body, have you improved, have you not improved? These things are kind of important for you to measure in order for you to get a good understanding of whether it will kill your gains or not. 3 miles a day, I don't think it'll kill your gains if it's something that your body is used to. For me, it would kill me though. Okay. Okay, Jay Moline, where do I find my bulking advice? Okay, well, I did a video on why I didn't believe in bulking, okay? So basically, I believe in eating lots of protein and carbs and then, you know, taking in enough fat, you know, but I don't believe in bulking past 15-20%. I don't think that that's really going to help you out too much unless you're naturally sitting at that percentage already, all right? It depends on your metabolism, but some guys will go from like 8% or 6% body fat and then bulk up to 25% body fat. And that's not going to help because all you're doing is putting on body fat, but you're not necessarily putting on muscle because of that. And I'd see guys do this year after year. Like when you're competing, you really see what works. And I would see it in other people, and I would actually advise other bodybuilders, and I would see what would happen to their physique because they'd bulk up, you know, 40 pounds over what their contest weight's going to be, and then they'd have to bring that 40 pounds off. And then on stage, they wouldn't be any bigger than if they stayed within 20 pounds of what body weight they're going to step on stage for. So the extra 20 pounds wasn't doing anything except creating more havoc during their contest diet. And sometimes because they had the diet so much, they would actually lose some of their body, some of their lean muscle tissue. A Rube Dog, I talk about this injuries I've had. A chiropractor tore my bicep. I didn't listen to my body. I listened to this supposed expert called a chiropractor, and he was a freaking idiot. And he didn't realize that I could hyperextend my elbow because I broke this arm when I was a kid. And he said, Jason, okay, I want to do a strength test on you because of your neck and stuff. Let's get that neck back in place and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay. And he made me lock my arm up. Yeah. And then he said, resist. And I said, okay. So I'm resisting. I have my arm slightly bent. Now I did heavy bicep curls the day before. Super heavy bicep curls, right? So this is another factor. And he goes, oh, no, lock your arm out straight. I said, well, it doesn't feel right. I don't want to lock my arm out straight. He goes, no, I'm the chiropractor. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Just lock your arm out straight. So I locked my arm out straight. Now he goes, resist. And then he yanked my arm down and then partially tore my bicep. So this is why I tell you, listen to your fucking body first. Fuck everybody else and what they tell you because they don't know shit about what's going on inside your body. It's really true. I can't tell you enough. This is the absolute truth. You got people all over the place telling you should take this vaccine or take that drug or take this, take that. I'm telling you, you got to listen to your own body because learning how to listen to your own body, it will tell you much bigger things than a lot of people that are supposedly got your best interest at heart. You know, a lot of these people don't. They think they know, but if you take a blind man and you ask him to drive your car, is it really his fault if the car crashes? No, it's your fault because you followed the blind man. You know what I'm saying? So, Billy Madison, ever get high liver enzymes when sore? I don't know. I don't test my liver enzymes, so I don't know. I don't know what the sign of that would be. Okay, talking about joints, I have golfer's elbow. Any tips on how to deal with it? Well, first thing you want to do is not do anything that's irritating it there, Anthony. So if you're hanging from the bar with the arms straight all the time, or if you're doing French curls like this, or if you're leaning like this, like say you're on a mouse or you do a lot of computer work and you're leaning like this all the time, that might be also causing a little bit of an elbow sort of irritation. But in the end, again, my advice is always the same. Massage therapy or a naturopath, get those muscles dealt with and see if there's something going on in there that needs to be addressed, right? I would not recommend anti-inflammatories though, okay, just so you know. Okay, do you think it's a bad idea training first thing in the morning on an empty stomach? No, it's not a bad idea. If you feel okay doing it, you can do it. I've done it before and then had a big meal right after. You might find that you need to eat the night before though to make sure you have some food or carbohydrates in your system or glycogen in your muscles, right? So it's not a bad idea. You can do it. Whether it has benefits to burn more body fat or not is out for debate. There's not too much research that's supporting that it's absolutely the most viable way to burn body fat, right? Although some people are saying it's 300% more effective, all that. I think if anything, you just have to find a way to structure your workouts and structure your eating in a way that you feel the best when you're working out and that you're getting results. So if you're eating a certain amount of food every day, where you place it is probably not quite as important as some people might make you think. Although I do think that there is importance on regularity, right? It's about 1 o'clock in the morning there, Kurt. Yeah, I know I'm hardcore, right? I'm up late because I'm here. Nice, Jacob. Australia. That's another reason why I'm up, because I hit the people in Australia here and I hit people in Europe and everything. So that's a nice part. Lucas, yeah, you can gain muscle and lose fat at the same time, because especially in the beginning stages, when you gain some muscle, you naturally gain more metabolism, so you do lose body fat automatically, right? You know, so that will happen. But yeah, honestly, just start like this. Carbs, protein, eat that 6 times a day. Just start there and then see what happens with your body, and have about, a gram per pound of body weight of protein. That's what you want to concentrate on. That's where you start. Jacob Avelis, what's my take on heel raise squats? I think they're bad for the knees. I think unless you have bulletproof knees like Tom Platz had or something, I just disagree with them. I think they're stupid. I don't like them at all. For me, they would kill my knees. My kneecaps would be on the wall, actually. 10 o'clock in Holland, nice. I think I met some people from Europe today, actually. In my town in Harrison Hot Springs, you get people visiting all the time, so it's kind of funny. So I go there and I just recommend what restaurants they should go to and stuff. It's really nice meeting people from Europe. Okay, so blobble. Okay, good exercise for hamstring. Your dude and your glutes are looking a bit too overdeveloped. What I would say is Romanian deadlifts. You can watch on my channel how to do a Romanian deadlift, that kind of thing. And make sure that you don't go down too deep. Just make sure you keep that tension on the hamstrings. Because a lot of times guys will bend over and then they bend over more and they round the back and stuff. And you want to keep that back arched and the knees slightly bent. That's the most important thing. And don't be afraid to do higher reps. You know, you don't have to do heavy reps all the time. Higher reps may work really well. 10 o'clock in Sweden and Germany. Nice. 10 a.m., man. So I'm up with the waffles, man. You guys having waffles? So Jackson Price, what exercise do I do for forearms? And I can honestly tell you, none. I have never done exercises for forearms at all. All I've done is curls, right? You know, curls and stuff, and holding on to dumbbells. Just holding on to dumbbells when I'm doing walk-in lunges, or holding on to bent over rows. A lot of times you guys will see me do bent over rows at 225, and then my grip will fail at around 20 to 28 reps or 30 reps, depending on how the bar is built and whether it rolls out of my hand or not. So that's really where I get most of my forearm work. A lot of times the bent over rows, the bar's rolling out of my hands, right? But that's about it. I don't ever train it by itself, though. I never train my forearms. Nice, Lucas, thanks. Yeah. Exercises for bigger delts. I have a video on that. They're Dolan, so if you would do me a favor, could you go watch that video? It's the secret to building bigger delts. Okay, that's what it's called. Secrets to building bigger delts. Look it up. You just go on the little magnifying glass there and you click in there and you go search. Or you go into my playlist section, right? Go down here and you click on playlist. And the playlist, there's a video or a playlist on building different muscle parts. And some of you guys don't know this, but different muscle groups. And if you look at that, I've got one on back, I've got it on delts, I've got biceps, I've got all this stuff in there. So it'll be really good for you to take a look at that. Rube Dog, do you get pissed off to help you push heavyweight? No, I never do. Because the truth is, Rube Dog, like I was doing heavyweight in the gym today, and you saw me do, did you see my video, Rube Dog? Tell me, I'm gonna, it's like, I feel like a teacher, I gotta make you guys do the homework, okay? So I'm kind of tired here. Did you watch my video I put up today? No, you didn't. See, Rube Dog, you're a bad person. You're a bad person, Rube Dog, bad person. Why didn't you watch my video there, Rube Dog? I'm gonna call you out in front of the class. I'm gonna call you out, you know, come to the front of the room there, Rube Dog. I share your shit though. Well, you know, you share it, but it must be shit if you're sharing it and you don't watch it. So basically, if you watch it, you'll see what I do, right? So the video that I put up today was on how to lift heavy, like how I lift heavy. And also it was, yeah, Rube Dog bad, that's right, Jeffrey. And it was how to lift heavy, and then what else did I say in there? Oh, how to change your workout programs around, because somebody was asking me about which workout program split they should be doing from my website, whether they should do 2-day, 3-day, you know, whole body, all that kind of stuff, and how should they change things around based on what they're doing. So I was answering that question. So if you want to know, you can see it firsthand with how I handled heavyweight in the gym there, okay? Now, just so you know, I have another gear that I can go into, like a fifth gear, okay, when I have intensity and effort. But what I found for myself, it's good for me to keep that one off to the side and stay in fourth gear or third gear. So what I'm saying is, if I try to push myself too hard, then I may snap something because my effort level almost, it's like my crankshaft can't take the horsepower that I can manifest, okay? It's kind of like a, you know, a car engine. If there's too much torque, sometimes you snap things. So I find that if I get too revved up and stuff, it's not necessarily good for the body staying in one piece, you know, because you override certain systems, and sometimes when you have more momentum or more power or explosiveness going, sometimes you're not paying attention in that moment within a moment of something that doesn't feel right. And sometimes it's not right to push through something, right? So I'm always careful. I'm listening to when I'm pushing, I'm like, okay, how does that feel? Okay, boom, how does that feel? Okay, how does that feel? And then if I'm like just exploding all the time and just totally pissed off and just totally out of my head in some sort of intensity, what happens is that, you know, sometimes you push through stuff you shouldn't be pushing, right? Okay, so let me just scroll up here. Good. Yeah, easy as a guy. Like for instance, a prime example is squats. Like I could be easily putting 455 or 500 on a squat. I know I could, and I could just, you know, maybe it's not as good a range of motion, but I know I could just push through that. But I know I'll probably snap something up if I do it, and maybe something's just a little off, or maybe I was editing at the computer too long and I was sitting off to the left a little bit. It's just good to err on the side of caution sometimes when it comes to that stuff. So that's why I stay with a little bit higher reps a lot of times. You know, it's different when you're 25 or 55. Well, the thing is, Jeffrey, it's you know, I'm not 55 either, you bastard, so don't be calling me 55. Hey, I'll just reach right through the freaking camera. But anyway, the bottom line is, that it's just at 25, you know, you sometimes don't experience certain things. So, like I said, I can run through a river, you know, and there's a bunch of piranhas and crocodiles in there. Age doesn't mean shit, really, but once a crocodile bites my leg off, then I'm like, oh fuck, I better not do that again, you know what I'm saying? Kurt, you're gonna get a fucking beating too. Just wait. I'm gonna reach right, I told you, the Bolo app is coming, and I'll be able to reach right through this camera. I'm telling you, I'll be able to get you too, Kurt. I'll get you 100%. So I look only like 74. I mean, you know, I'm 43, but I look like 74, but that's okay. But the thing is that I find that just pushing balls to the wall, just explosive effort, and pushing too hard in rep ranges that are too low without control, it'll cause some snapping for sure. It just happens that way. Even I screwed myself up so many times when I was 18 years old, 19, 20. Like, it was only through doing this repeatedly, because back then, you know, I was governed by the mentality that is governing a lot of people on the internet now. I was like, okay, I gotta lift heavy or die, because my entire identity is wrapped up in what I can lift and what people think of me and whether I'm gonna get big or not. And I thought that was the only way. So doing 4 reps of something or 5 reps, I gotta do it, otherwise I'm a pussy. You know, like all these things were going on, right? Because I didn't really understand the mechanics behind building muscle. And I didn't really understand the fact that when you get an injury, you push too hard, what happens is that then you're out for 2 or 3 months or several years. And then how big can you get? You know what I'm saying? Like it's about pushing enough, but not pushing so much that it's too much, right? So you do want to push the body, but you don't want to push it too much. Yeah, Jeffrey, I know. I know you're 54. I know. I'm just kidding with you. Yeah. Okay, so Dolan J, are weightlifting belts a must? I say if you have a lot of back problems and stuff, you know, when you're lifting heavier weight, even if you're actually a guy that doesn't have back problems, if you're lifting like say something for 1 or 2 reps, which I never advocate anyway, but if this is the kind of insanity that you're going to engage in, you know, you're doing powerlifting or something like that, then I would say a belt is a good thing, because under those circumstances, if your spine just moves just a little bit out or something like that, that's it. It's a herniated disc and you're done, right? So when you're lifting weights that are maximal poundages, then I would say a belt is a must, 100%. So I got some nose here, it makes my nose itchy. So then I'd say a belt is a must. But what I found, and this was after I was about 22 years old, there's a couple reasons why I stopped using a belt. One was I got sick of dragging a belt to the gym. I got sick of it. Every time I have to do squat work, I gotta make, oh, where's my belt? Where is it, you know? And I had to make sure I bring it to the gym and then lay it on the floor somewhere or in my gym bag off to the side or something like that. And I kind of, you know, I thought, oh, you know, maybe I'm kind of weak. Maybe I'm depending on this belt a little bit. And then I also noticed that firing the core and using a belt is basically the opposite. So belt basically teaches you to push your stomach into the belt in order to fire your lower back and keep it arched. Whereas if you really want to fire your core, you actually want to suck that belly button in towards the spine, right? And then maintain your arch. So I noticed that the belt was actually causing more problems, and I was actually getting injuries in the back when I was wearing the belt. So it's not like the belt was preventing an injury, and I think it's because it just my back became so weak in comparison to my other muscle groups. So I started to lift without a belt, and it felt really weird because, you know, you're doing 60%, 70% of the weight that you usually use, and it feels like you're like the Leaning Tower of Pisa or something. And after time though, my spine started to get stronger and stronger, and it actually felt much better. So that's why I didn't use a belt. And I never had trouble with my waist getting too big on stage or any of that kind of stuff. That's all a bunch of crap. My waist never got too big. If anything, I got an awesome Christmas tree in my back whenever I was on stage. So yeah, it seemed to do nothing but help me actually. So you guys, just so you know about the Patreon, right? Okay, I'm just gonna tell you, right? You know about Patreon? Where I have a page where you can donate $1 or $2 or $5 or $10 or $20 or $1 million a month. You can do that? Okay, just so you know. This was a word from your sponsor. Well, it's a word from my future sponsors. Whoever decides to use my Patreon account. So anyway, I gotta let you know that it's obligatory, okay? Just so you guys know. Okay, Tristan, somebody asked me this. It's funny, a lot of people are asking me about vacuums lately. No, I never did vacuums. Never did them. Never really felt the need. I thought they were kind of stupid, actually. Just always like somebody sucking their stomach into the side of the gym and just like a cat heaving up a hairball. It just seems stupid to me. What motivates me to go to the gym? Creativity, actually. That's what motivates me to go to the gym. Actually, creativity. And what I'm going to say is creativity, because it's one of the parts of making these videos. So that's kind of why I am motivated to train hard. It's not because I want to compete. It's more like it just gives me an excuse to kind of make these videos and then relate to you guys, right? So see you, mate. Feed, kill, repeat. Yeah, all right, buddy. Make sure you tune into my other videos, though. Hey, don't just use me for the live stuff, eh? Okay, 4:25 a.m. All right, Jeffrey. Have a good one, eh, buddy? Yeah, thanks for tuning in, eh? All right. So what else is everybody going to say here? Yeah, I sleep well, but Rube Dog, because I'm a social media guy And because I do sessions online, like I do meditation counseling type sessions with people, or I do these videos, or I sell my personal training programs, or I make video for other people, I've kind of got an open schedule, so I'm not necessarily a person that is, I don't have to be in bed by 9 and get up by 7 and go to work, like the typical 9 to 5 sort of thing. So yeah, I don't have trouble sleeping, but yeah, I sleep pretty late. I'm pretty much a late guy. So I'm always doing video, or I'm making music, or I'm doing something like this for you guys. So yeah, so I'm looking at making this more sustainable because I really do enjoy doing this sort of thing with you guys. So that's why I've started that Patreon account and everything. So yeah, it's all about making this creative sort of endeavor sustainable, right? Do I have cheat meals? If so, how often do you have them? Lately, Dolan, I've been having more cheat meals than usual, and I've noticed it a little bit in my physique, but it seems to be not hurting me when it comes down to building muscle and stuff, so I'm not worried about it too much. But I have ice cream once a week for sure, and then I will have 1 or 2 other things. Like tonight I had a bag of rice cakes, and that's kind of a cheat instead of me eating like a standard chicken and rice, or steak and rice, or tuna and rice, or whatever that I eat, or tuna and potato or something. So yeah, usually a couple times a week for sure I'll have a cheat meal, you know. I take some vitamin C, Dima Cott. I take some vitamin C once in a while, and I take a multivitamin once in a while, and I eat some liver once in a while because I find that there's nothing that really tops the amount of vitamins that's in liver. So am I deficient in anything? Probably. I probably am deficient in something, so yeah, sometimes you find out the hard way when you're deficient in a mineral or two. But yeah, I think a multivitamin isn't a bad idea, just so you know. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think a multivitamin is a good idea for people to take. Not that I think it's the same, it doesn't have the same value as eating the food right from the earth, but unfortunately a lot of the foods that we have don't have the same vitamin content they used to because the over irrigation, or not irrigation, but the land's just being used too much, right? So I think a lot of the minerals and everything are robbed from the soil and stuff. But I do enjoy eating from my tree in front, like the mulberries. Man, they're good, so I've been eating like crazy from them, so I'm getting quite a bit of vitamin C and everything from that, right? Do I soak my liver in milk? No, I never have. I've never actually heard about soaking liver in milk. Why would I do that? Is there a reason, or does it taste good or something? Takes toxins out. Yeah, no, I don't worry too much about that. It doesn't seem to have much toxins in it, actually. I find the kidneys probably have more toxins in them than anything, but that's based on the research my brothers actually showed me. But the bottom line is that liver just has so much good stuff in there that, yeah, eating one of those a day, like I can actually feel it. It almost feels like a drug, to tell you the truth. Sometimes if you're deficient in iron or copper or whatever it is, you know, and then you eat something like that, you feel it right away. All of a sudden, boom, it's like I could feel my body actually all of a sudden swelled the next day. Like I could feel like the muscles filled out, and I had a much bigger amount of energy. So organ meats are underestimated. I think a lot of people would benefit if they had a little bit of organ meat in their diet, whether it's liver or whether it's, you know, chicken hearts or whatever, you know, all these different types of organ meats. Because back in the day, you know, most people didn't actually have access to the organ meats. That was just saved for royalty and stuff like that, right? And the peasants actually ate the muscle tissue. I can't remember where I read this, but somebody told me this actually, that that was the way it was. Like the muscle and stuff that we eat now, like the chicken breasts and all that, that was actually not what the rich ate back in the day. You know, and my grandpa used to be a fisherman, and he'd fish codfish and stuff out of the Atlantic Ocean, and he used to eat the livers right out of the cod right there in the boat. So yeah, it's extremely healthy, like a lot of stuff in that. So yeah, I think it's good to vary up the diet a little bit that way for sure. Plus that stuff's pretty low fat and high in protein as well, so. Okay. Anybody else saying anything here? Is anybody new here? Anybody new? Okay, so blood tears. Did you actually ask that question just a little while ago? Did you actually comment on YouTube, blood tears, and ask that question about leg extensions? Was that you? Because somebody else asked that question, if it wasn't you. Yeah, you did. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to make a video for you. I'm going to make a video for you on that, because it's been something that people are. Hey, Blobble, nice to have you. Hey, Blobble, so far, what's your favorite videos? What videos do you like the most? So let me know. And Dolan J, what do I think about protein bars? Are they a good way to get the macros in? Not really. I had a couple tonight because they taste good, but it's not the best way to get your macros in, honestly. Okay, so blood tears. So I'm going to make a video for your blood tears. So basically, just to give you the long and the short of it, just quickly, leg extensions, I think, could be a great movement for a person that naturally has an affinity to do them without knee pain, right? But the thing is that I noticed for myself, doing leg extensions put an exponential amount of pressure on my knees instead of my quadriceps. So thanks, Easy, as a guy. Thanks. You know, here's the thing, Easy. I don't know what's going on, though. I put up a day in the life video a couple days ago, and I got like half the views on it. So that's what I'm asking everybody right now. I'm saying, okay, what's going on here? Is it just the YouTube algorithm thing, or are people not liking those, or what? So I kind of need to get a little bit of feedback here, because I've been trying to put up a video every day the last 5 days. And I noticed that my views were good, and then as soon as the day in the life video went, doof, it just totally dropped. So I don't know what's going on there. But so anyway, to get back to leg extensions, I think leg extensions can be really harmful to the knees if you're noticing pain, if your body's kind of giving you this feedback, because the hamstrings aren't being activated. And the hamstrings connect to the bone, the tibia right here, and they pull, and then, you know, say your quadriceps over, and this is your kneecap, right? And it pulls the knee in tight when your hamstring's engaged. But with leg extensions, your hamstrings aren't engaged at all. They're totally relaxed. So you're firing just the quadriceps. So I think this would depend on how your knee joint is structured. Basically how your knee joint is formed when you're born. You know, I don't know if you have the genetics for it or not. But for me, I noticed that you get a great quad burn from leg extensions. But bare minimum though, I would really recommend, okay, that's the word, I would really recommend that people stick to higher rep ranges, because it is an isolation movement, and because of the pressure on the knee, it could be devastating if you do way too much weight, right? But if you have Tom Platz type knees, if you have knees that just seem to be built for that, then I would say, you know, by all means use them and go heavy on them, do whatever it is you feel like you need to do with them, right? So really kind of pay attention to how you feel. But as a general rule, I never had people do a lot of leg extensions, and if I did have them do them, I'd stick to 30 reps, 25 reps, you know, higher rep type sets. Rube Dog, what do I think about CT Fletcher's way of training? I actually like it. I like his way of training. I don't know if the frequency is quite the same as what I advocate, but I think that's why he got big arms. He was actually doing 2-day splits. Basically, he was doing his buys every day, or every second day, and his tries every second day. DOMS, I can't remember what that is. You're asking me DOMS, what's that? Is that like delayed onset muscle soreness? Is that what that is? Okay. Yeah, okay. So I made a video on this, watch this. Do you have to get sore in order to grow muscle? I have made a video on that, okay? So by all means, guys, honestly, I really recommend you just go click on videos and scroll through those puppies. And I've got playlists on different subjects. So I'm probably answering a lot of your questions in these videos, and I made specific videos in each subject. So I made a video on this. Do you need to get sore to grow muscle? And I said that you actually don't, because some muscles don't seem to get sore. And I think this has to do with the fast twitch fiber content ratio. And what I mean by this is that I noticed a long time ago that my hamstrings would get extremely sore when I did any sort of hamstring work like Romanian deadlifts or hamstring curls or anything like that. But quadriceps, I mean, I train the shit out of them, and they get a little tight, but they wouldn't get extremely sore. They wouldn't get extremely sore, not the same as hamstrings would. And the same thing with my biceps. I train the shit out of them, they get tight and big, and they were growing, but I wouldn't really get sore from them. And the same thing with my shoulders. I do lateral raises and stuff till I'm blue in the face, or shoulder presses. Sometimes they get tight here, but not so sore that I can barely move, right? But sure enough, the muscle groups that were getting sore weren't necessarily growing more than the others, but I do look for a tightness or a soreness, and I notice that different muscle groups will show you that they've been worked with a different stimulus, all right? A different biofeedback, you could say. Some give you the soreness signal, and some give you the tightness, full pumped feeling signal. And I think one of those two things has to be happening in order for you to basically be making muscle gains. Okay, so Blood Tars, if you have time, what do you think a skinny fat person, normal body mass index, high body fat, 20% should do diet-wise? Exactly what I said earlier in this video. Eat good quality food, exactly what Shavansky, whatever your name is, said. I just say eat protein and carbs every meal and stick to about 1 gram per pound of body weight for protein. To do that for sure, that is a great place to start. I'm gonna make a video on this, where to start with your nutrition program. So just watch that video when I make it. I started making it today. I've got a lot of ideas of some of the just quick snippets of what you guys should look at. And I think that it's really good to start simple. I think people overcomplicate everything. And I really agree with some of the experts on the internet. There's some guys that are pretty big out there and they say, just simplify and do and put the work in. And I don't, okay, blood turies, I would throw out all the calorie stuff out the door. Throw the calorie stuff out the door. Just start from scratch. Start learning without the numbers. You know what a handful of rice looks like? You know what a handful of chicken looks like? Blend those two fuckers together and eat them, right? And just go from there. Stay away from straight sugar. Don't have too much straight sugar. Have stevia or some sweetener or something like that. The more natural, the better for sweet type taste if you need that. But basically, just stick to good sources. Lower glycemic index type carbs are better if you can stick to that. And I would just recommend just sticking to that 5 days, 6 days a week. Okay. Kenneth CW, do I weigh chicken before or after cooking? I never weigh it. But if I'm going to say, okay, so many pounds of chicken or whatever, yeah. Basically, a breast of chicken is about 4 ounces. Around there, 4 to 6 ounces, depending on the size of the half breast, the half little things. So yeah, if you're going to weigh it based on a pound of chicken is 80 grams of protein, yeah, I'd weigh it after cooking in that case, yeah. But you can look up on the internet. You can actually find all the macros right there. I'm really just giving you a general thing. Do I count my protein now? Not really, honestly. What I do is protein, carb, there you go, that's my meal. Protein, carb, boom. Protein, carb, boom. Protein, carb, boom. Eat as much as I want. And then from there, I say, am I getting fatter or not? If I'm getting fatter, then I take one of those meals, take out the carbs, and then stuff my face as much protein as I want. That's what I do. Yeah. So it's really simple. It's really simple. It's just a matter of just eating enough. I find too many people want to cheat the system. They want to just diet themselves down to getting leaner. But the problem is, it's like say I had 10 houses and I was getting residual income from each one of those houses. And then I'm like, okay, well, I want some money right now. So what I'm going to do, instead of buying another house and leveraging myself and getting more money from the bank, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell one of my houses and get the capital out of that house, then spend that and then sell the next house. Well, slowly but surely, my residual income will go down. And that's what people do when they diet. They start losing muscle mass because they're limiting their calories, they're limiting their protein, they're limiting their carbs. They're saying, I'm going to limit. And then, yeah, they're leaner, but then one day their metabolism is also shutting down at the same time because they're losing body mass. They're losing their actual metabolism and their muscle mass from that. So I think it's better to work on bodybuilding, because that's what this is, bodybuilding. It's not body losing. And when you start building and nourishing the body, you will nourish your metabolism. And then from there, you can start maybe adding more protein or a higher ratio of protein and a little bit less ratio of carbs or something, but you're still eating, right? Yeah. Yes, you can get leaner by eating less carbs. You just want to make sure that you don't eat too little carbs, because too little carbs, your body will start to eat its own muscle. And also when you're taking out carbs, you want to be replacing that with protein and fibrous carbs as well. Isaiah 19, I think you could do medium and high reps on shoulders and get some great mass gains. You don't need to do super heavy. Depends what you mean by super heavy. But yeah, do I think you ever need to go below 8 reps? I don't think so. Garen Kashishian, how can you bulk up while keeping the waist small and tight? You can't. You can't do it. The thing is, I don't believe in bulking. I talked about this earlier in this video, so this must be a subject. Maybe the planets or astrology is here talking about this today. But the bottom line is that I don't believe in bulking. Most people believe in getting big and fat in order to gain muscle. That's bullshit. If you're getting big and fat, what you're doing is you're just building fat. You're not bulking. You're not actually gaining muscle from that, so it's not necessary. If you're gaining fat, you're just eating a bunch of fat stuff and your body's storing a bunch of carbs, but it's not really helping you gain muscle, so I wouldn't recommend it. Right? You need to eat to feed the muscles, right? Not feed the fat stores. Yeah, blobble, less than 5 reps I find is almost not necessary, but you know, I always break my own rules. Once in a while I'll do 5 reps or something, but most of the time I find 8 reps and above is a good place to stick, right? Yeah, easy as a guy. Bulking is stupid. Honestly, it doesn't work. I've seen so many guys do it. Each year they bulk up and then they come back to the bodybuilding show, and if anything, they would actually lose some muscle mass because they'd have to diet so freaking hard to get all that body fat off, and they would be no farther ahead. So yeah, and you see it especially with the unnatural bodybuilders. They're the worst because they're doing all this other kind of stuff and whatever. They're just bloating up and everything, and then they come back for a bodybuilding show and they look like they're anorexic. They just look like they had to diet every single thing off. So all they did was lose a bunch of water and gain a bunch of water. Like, what's the point? So yeah, I think it's better to focus on feeding the muscles, right? Feeding the muscles. Yeah, Bled Turi's actually, I do have a lot of videos on how to eat to lose weight. Like a ton of them, a ton of videos. Like honestly, look through my playlist. You're gonna find a bunch of videos there. I can't think of them offhand, and I can't access my phone here to tell you the titles of them, but there's so many videos on there that I just talk about, like how to eat as a natural bodybuilder. I actually talked to you about this. How to eat as a natural bodybuilder is the name of one of them, and it tells you the exact thing that I do and the exact thing that I used to do for competitions and everything. And then I also talked to you about 1 week out of a bodybuilding show, what I do for pre-contest prep. So that's all there too. So watch those videos, and I'm gonna make another video on nutrition, but watch those videos first, and it's all there, 100%. I explain all this there. It's very simple. Yeah, no visible abs or a gut. That'd be definitely 20% and above. Yeah, 100%. That's what that would be. Yeah. So, okay, so most people can't wait to lose. That's right. Yeah. That's right, Anthony. Yeah, the problem is a lot of people, they want everything right away. And I'm guessing that is if you're a natural drug-free bodybuilder, that's not going to be the case. You're not going to get everything right away, but you are going to get gains. You know, some people think you can't get big and strong and you can't get lean, you can't look impressive. You can, but it'll take you a little bit longer. And maybe you won't get to the same level, but you're going to get pretty good. You're going to get pretty good. But you have to basically feed the body. This whole anorexic approach to bodybuilding that's going on right now on Instagram and stuff is not going to get you anywhere. That might work for some of the drug guys, but it will not work for a natural bodybuilder. You cannot be denying your body food and then expect it to make muscle. It just won't happen. And even some of the guys that aren't natural would tell you that. Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is that you have to make sure that you're feeding the body first. The nourishment is important, right? So don't think that there's any shortcuts to getting lean. And the thing is that getting lean is one thing, but you can be lean at 140 pounds, but that doesn't mean you're going to be impressive. I mean, you look at the average yogi living on the street in India, I mean, they look pretty damn lean too, you know, like just don't eat for a couple months and see what kind of physique you get, you know? But I'm guessing that if you're tuning into a bodybuilding channel, you want to be more than lean. You actually want to have some sort of shape and muscle and that sort of thing. And that's kind of what you're looking for, that statuesque type of physique, right? Paulo Almeida, what's my relationship with vegetables? It's sparing. I like vegetables, but I don't like cooking them. But I love vegetables. I do love broccoli. I love zucchini. I love peppers. I love onions. I love all that stuff. So yeah, I don't cook them enough. I usually wait till my wife cooks some and then I eat those. Shavansky, what's the best rep range without destroying yourself? I would say 10 to 20 reps. 10 to 25 reps pretty much are really good rep range to stick to as a main sort of foundation of your rep ranges. I think that's pretty good. 10 to 25 reps. Now, this is very general. Each person is different. Okay, so I have to say this. Excuse me, coffee's coming up. Everybody's different. Some people seem to respond better with different rep ranges and stuff, but I was going to give you a general rule. Like if you ask me a general question, I'm going to give you a general rule back, then I would say 10 to 25 reps, okay? Garen Kashishian. I have, okay, you're asking me, is chest 3 times a week too much for a natural, and how many sets would you recommend in each session? Okay, I'm going to do the same thing I did with a guy earlier in this call here. Go to my website, naturalgallantbodybuilding.com. I have workout programs for sale for $25 to $40 on there, okay? Very cheap. There's a 2-day split program and all this, and I actually outline the sets and reps for the exact type of thing you're talking about right there. Doing the whole body, but training it every second day. And you'll see the entire outline right there. And I have an A program, B program, C program, and I will have a D program. So that's coming out pretty soon. So anyway, you can actually go through those programs in there, and I guide you through it so that way you can get an idea as well as feel your way through what feels right to you with different rep ranges and everything, because rep ranges will also influence sets and all this kind of stuff too, okay? So it's a kind of a more complicated question than you might think, because it is based on individuality and everything as well. But the way I've designed the programs is that so you can ease your way into this type of frequency and at the same time not overtrain, but at the same time feel your way through it, and anyway, you'll get a good idea. So yeah, that's the best advice I could give you. Try that out, go to my website, and yeah, it could be anywhere from 5 to 8 sets or 10 sets depending on the person, right? And depending on the rep range, depending on, you know, a lot of different variables. Yeah, G-Logic, yes, I did get my coffee today. G-Logic is from Starbucks there, buddy, so nice to see you, man. Hey, I did go there today, but you weren't there. But I met another dude there that was talking to me about Amazon stuff and this whole online sort of business he had going on, so he was talking my ear off in there. I actually got stuck in the coffee shop for about an hour and a half before the gym because he wouldn't be quiet, but he was saying some interesting stuff, so it wasn't a bad thing. It was actually pretty good. Kenneth CW, full body versus split training. I think there are benefits to both, Kenneth. I think both are good. I think sometimes higher volume for a muscle group can really push it past that point of failure and help more glycogen deposition in the muscle, and it'll give it that poofy rounder effect. And then when you do full body, you're doing a little bit higher frequency, so the neat part about that is that your coordination gets better, so that helps better for strength, right? So I think doing both back and forth, strength and then bodybuilding, strength and then bodybuilding. The more strength you have, then the better bodybuilding gains you get when you start to rep out and do more volume with that strength. So I think they both work really well together. Thanks, Shavatsky. Thanks, buddy. Oh, crap. Sorry, G-Logic, you were sick, eh? That's too bad. Yeah, see you, Anthony. Have a good one, buddy. I meant to say man there. I don't know what I went. I don't know what happened. It must be late. Hey, Marko Zivkovic, he's saying, what do you think about performing 10 sets of 3 with moderate to heavy weight with 2 to 3 minute rest? People say it produces similar levels of metabolic fatigue and all that. It depends. How many reps can you do with the weight? You're saying you're going to do 3 reps with moderately heavy, but how many reps could you do? Can you do 7 reps with it, 10 reps, 20 reps with it? Like what is your meaning of moderately heavy weight, right? So that makes a difference right there. But say you could do 5 or 6 sets, and by the 10th set, you could only get 2 or 3, right? Because you could get 3 easily for the first few sets, but then the last set you couldn't do it. That is a typical powerlifting type of program where it's just heavily focused on lifting the heavy weight over and over again and perfecting that groove. And it's a very powerful way to increase strength. So I do that stuff from time to time, and I will be writing up a strength training program at some point, and that will be on my website. So I've talked about that today. Out of all you guys that are tuning in right now, how many of you have seen my video that I put up today? And how many of you seen my video that I put up yesterday, which is the day in my life video, where I talk about different exercise form or range of motion? See, I get to ask the question sometimes. You don't get to do it all the time. Just say 19V, do you think a natural should superset a lot? I don't think so. I think you can. I mean, I did giant sets. I like giant sets, if that's what you mean. I like doing triceps, like a pumping type thing, and then over the head type thing. Or sometimes I'll be doing a tricep extension, then do some bench tips to finish it off and go deeper into failure. I think that stuff's pretty good. So giant sets I like a lot. Supersets you can do. I always found that, say I was doing a superset, say chest, and then I go right to back, then I find that my cardio might become the weak link. And if that happens, then that becomes a little bit of a problem because you don't want the cardio to be the weak link if you want your muscles to hit failure, right? So you don't want your breath to be the weak link. So depends. Hey, Nikos Chamozas, how you doing? Okay, so one guy answered me. So Paulo said he's gonna watch my videos after this. Okay, so everybody else, I asked a question. How many of you guys? Okay, so nobody's answered. All right, so you guys ask me questions. I'm supposed to answer, but you don't ask me questions, or you don't answer my questions. I'm gonna go on strike, man. If you don't answer my questions, I ask it. Okay, I'm gonna ask another time. How many of you guys watch my videos? Okay, Nathan Harvey, thank you. Okay, yeah, blah blah. Pay attention, damn it. Pay attention. Come on, you're in class now. Come on, get your head in your books. Okay, so basically I just asked how many of you guys watched my video that I put up today or watched the video that I put up yesterday? Everin, thanks. I know Everin always watches my videos. That guy's like hardcore fan, and I don't even have fans, and he's my hardcore fan, so thanks, Everin. Okay, Jamie Edgerton, so you watched the day in the life vlog? Okay, now I'm gonna ask you to write a report, and I want you to submit it. Just send it to me at naturalgallant@hotmail.com. No, just... So, Assay 19, you did not watch the recent ones. Okay. Okay, Dima, you did. Yeah, you comment all the time, Dima, so thanks for that. I actually do appreciate it when you guys comment on my videos, whether you're giving me feedback or what you like about the video, what you don't like. I really do appreciate it. I'm serious. I read every single comment you guys put down there. I'm hooked up on my phone all the time. As you can see, it's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning right now, and I'm on the internet, and I'd already put a video up today. So, I'm dedicated to this channel. So, I am basically making sure that I take care of you guys as good as I can, and that's why I started the Patreon account, because I'm trying to make this sustainable so that way I can take care of you, but at the same time still, justify the 30 plus hours a week I'm putting into this channel, plus the breaking of the lenses and all that shit. So sometimes the camera stuff becomes quite challenging, but anyway. So, but thanks a lot for that. So I'm just letting you guys know that I'm not just some head on the screen. I'm actually a person, and I'm really actually interacting with you guys. So that's why sometimes when guys come on my channel and they insult me. Okay, Nikos, you could ask me a question about the six-pack workout, although I probably won't know anything about it. So just so you know. But the reason why when somebody comes on my channel and they insult me right away, people say don't feed the trolls, but I actually talk to them because I know that they are also real people, and there's an opportunity for them to actually understand that they're actually interacting with a real dude. And once they know that, it's funny, some guys, they totally shift. They're like, oh shit, this person's actually talking to me. There's actually a relationship going on here. So I don't have to just be funny and just throw a paper ball from the end of the class like the other kids in my high school or something. They actually start talking, and then we actually start having some pretty interesting conversations. So I think that at some point, this channel's going to blow up, and it's going to be based on a lot of the guys like yourself that are on here that are just so positive, because it's amazing how many of you come in and talk to other people on the channel and are respectful. I'm noticing that. A lot of you guys are commenting with other people and helping them find a video that they need to find, or if they ask me a question, then some of you are answering for me. So I really do appreciate that. Hey, Jack. How you doing, Jack Ford? You haven't commented for a long time there, Jack Ford. So where you been, buddy? See? Missed ya. So I really do appreciate that. So thanks for treating everybody with respect and not kind of going into the same level that a lot of people on the other YouTube channels are going into, where they just go into this negativity sort of bubble. I don't know what it is, but it's nice to not have to be a part of that all the time. So thanks. Makes it a lot easier to do this work anyway. Okay, so Nikos, do you want to ask me that question about the six-pack workout? Yeah, Jack Ford, I'm up. It's super late. It's like 1:45 right now, actually. It's not 2 o'clock, 1:45. Well, Nikos, that's good, right? If you've seen changes, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, sometimes just burning calories and working out, you will notice subtle changes in the body. Anytime you put out effort, you will notice differences, right? So this is a chance for you to learn some things about the body and to learn what is working for you at this point, right? Sometimes that changes and evolves, but yeah, nothing wrong with that. Okay, Assay 19V. What's the best way to target the quadriceps close to the knee? So that's called the medialis. It's called the vastus medialis. And that would be the top portion of a squat, like the very top, like the first couple inches, right? When you just bend the knee slightly and then straighten. And the bottom when the knee comes forward over the toe. Okay, that would be a great place. So the best way to target that, I would say, is deep squats. Deep squats. If your back can take it and your knees can take it, then deep squats would do it. But yeah, it's more the range of motion that's more deep, then you're going to really hit those quads right by the patella, right? So say you're leg pressing, you would bring the feet a little bit down farther and you would focus on more the knee bend rather than the hip movement. No problem there, Kenneth. Thanks, eh? Yeah, so yeah, basically the vastus medialis is pretty easy to hit actually, so don't worry too much about it. You know, if you're doing deep stuff, you're definitely going to get that. Cool, okay. Cool, no problem, man. Yeah. So yeah, so like I said, thanks to the guys that are supporting the channel so far. So it enables me to be able to sit on here and give you guys some free advice. So thanks, and any of you guys that have shared my stuff, that also is a way of supporting this channel. So I really appreciate that too. Okay, so don't think that I don't notice that stuff too. So thanks a lot for that. Okay, so Jack Ford Max is going to be building a home gym. You know, the most expensive part of the gym isn't, like, I still got to put some more stuff in here because I just got the squat rack and the dumbbells, but what I got to do is get a shoulder press, and I have to get another flat bench, I think, because it'd be nice to be able to get a couple people in here and train at the same time. I'd like to be able to get a tricep press down. I'd like to be able to get a few of these things, but okay, so the main advice I'd give you is a squat rack is actually pretty cheap. If you look on my website, actually I got the links down there, so if you want to take a look at that, naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, it's under the link equipment that I use. It's under that tab. And I show you all the equipment that I use and give you the links and everything. And basically what I would say is a squat rack isn't really that expensive. So if we're talking Canadian dollars here, we're talking about $500, $600. So it's not that expensive compared to other stuff that you might find in the gym, like machines and things, right? So a squat rack is definitely an idiot-proof type of purchase. It's really an easy sort of, I think it's the best thing ever. Dumbbells and weights though, and bars become pretty expensive. A bar you can get for $200 to $300, but the weights become so expensive because of the shipping. So if I were you, once you get the bar, like you get an Olympic bar or something, you spend your $200 or $300 on that, then what you should do is look in Craigslist or some sort of local ads in your paper or on the internet. Sorry, my voice is dry here. Look on the internet. And you can find, like, a lot of times people are just liquidating their weights and stuff because they just don't use them. They're just sitting around their house collecting dust or something like that. So that's the best way to buy your free weights, especially dumbbells and plates and stuff, because those things are so expensive to buy brand new, but you could probably get them for pennies on the dollar compared to what you'd spend if you go to the store. So that's a good idea. I don't know if that helps you out at all, but that's what I found a lot of people have done. When I was training a few clients out of their home, that's what they did too. They bought like a whole rack and dumbbells and everything just for a couple $100, and you know, they saved themselves $1,000 right there. Yeah. Free weights should be free. That's funny, easy as a guy. That's good. That's good. That's right. That's right. Free weights. Yeah. Yeah, the weights do cost a lot, because you're paying for them to be shipped mostly. It's the shipping that is so expensive, right? Individual dumbbells are so expensive. The other thing you can look at though, Jack, I mean, it's not exactly my favorite thing, but you can look in those dumbbells that you can actually switch, like you can easily switch them from 60 or 70 pounds to 10 pounds, and those things are a lot cheaper. Yeah. But the ones that they're actually automatic fast switching type stuff, I think they're only about $50 or $100 at Costco or something. So you could get a set of dumbbells like that to take care of most of your needs, and then if you want to get a standard heavy set of dumbbells or something like that, you can do that too. Yeah, score collars, there's different ones, some like twist and stuff, and there's other ones like, those are pretty handy and they're actually pretty good. So I would recommend something like that for the weights that are below 50 pounds. That would be more than enough for most of your main little things. And then if you want like the heavy 70 pound or 80 pound or 100 pound dumbbells or something like that, then you might want to spend the money on that, because that's got a different feel when you're doing those really heavy lifts, right? So I think that's a good idea. Okay, so Nikos Chamozas, please answer, because I want to gain weight but work out at the same time. Okay, so what did you ask there, Nikos? Okay. You're 50 kilograms and your friends always make fun of you that I'm skinny, but they don't know that I work out and that I have a lot of strength. Okay, so what do you want me to say about that? What do you need help with there, Nikus? I'll just wait for your answer there, Nikus. I already have an idea of how I'm going to answer you, but I'm just going to wait till you say something here just so I can get an idea where your mind's at. I'm not trying to be funny, actually. I'm trying to help him in whatever way I can here. So, yeah, well, that's a good point there, Easy as a guy. Good friends you have there, Nick. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so first of all, Nick, best way to gain weight is different than your friends. So you brought in the friend part. So do you want to address that at all there, Nikus? Okay, because right now I think that you're gaining muscle for the wrong reasons. All right. So I'm going to say this, and I think your parents would probably say the same thing, but you wouldn't listen to them because I wouldn't listen to my parents either when I was your age. So, friends, what friends think of you, if they're not really thinking of you in a positive way, they're not really friends. Okay? So, yeah, Psychology 101, I guess that's true. But I understand that in high school and when you're a kid, it's a big pissing contest. Really, what you're doing is you're trying to prove who's better and this and that and try to etch out your identity in the world and all this sort of thing. So somehow you think by gaining muscle that you're going to get loved by these people and respected, right? Okay, just two of them. Okay, so two of these assholes are just basically not really your friends. I hate to break it to you, buddy, but they're not your friends. And I'm going to say this. If people are treating you like shit and always trying to make you feel bad about yourself, they're not really your friends. And the reason why I know this is because I've been one of those shitty friends before in my life. You know, when I was your age, sometimes you're insecure and stuff, and then you see somebody that might be, you know, bettering themselves, or you might feel bad about yourself, and then you think, oh, well, if I could push this person down, then it makes me better somehow. These are the types of games that human beings play when they are unsure about themselves or they're not happy, right? And I think everybody does that at some point in their life until they realize that no matter how much you push somebody down, it doesn't make you any happier. It just makes you miserable, and now the other person's miserable too, right? It's kind of like stealing somebody's wallet, but they'd be the person that would be feeding you when you're broke. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really help. So first of all, I want you to say this, or I want you to know this anyway, is that one thing that happened to me when I had the best physique in my gym, hands down, 100%. Everybody in that gym would have been able to tell you who's the guy that is the best physique, that guy over there. And I'll tell you right now that I had a lot of people hate me because they were jealous and they didn't like me because I had a better physique than them. So they had all these ideas about what my physique meant to them, and what it meant about me, what it meant about what I thought about myself, you know, all these types of things. So a physique is not going to give you more love, just so you know. So don't be trying to get muscles because you think people are going to like you because of it. Trust me, that's not what's going to happen. But if you like yourself and you enjoy training and you're doing it because you really like it, then that's the right thing. But it's not going to gain you more love, all right? That is something that you need to basically be open to, and you need to pay attention and to reward the people that are treating you well in your life. You can't just reward the guys that are just hanging out with you and just pissing on you, right? Don't be hanging out with them. Hang out with the people that help you be the best possible you can be. And sometimes those people aren't cool. Sometimes those people aren't popular, or sometimes those people aren't, you know. Yeah. So I'm not going to be here in an hour there, buddy. I'll be in bed. But you know, sometimes those people that have a lot of value to you might not seem valuable at first because you haven't taken the time to get to know them. So if I could say anything, I would say don't surround yourself with people that are shallow, because it seems like somehow if you make them like you, that somehow you've gained something in life. Discard those people and hang out with the people that are more positive, right? It really helps. It's kind of like I block people on here when they troll me too much. I'm like, oh, just fuck off. I'm done with you. You know, I'm done. I mean, I'm here trying to give some free help, and then people beat on me. Like, what's the point, right? I just get rid of them. I'm not going to sit here and, oh, please like me, please. It's a waste of time, you know? So don't make your training like that. So if you want to gain muscle, if you want to know all the secrets to gaining muscle, gain muscle. I've got all the tips on this channel. I've got workout programs on my website. If your parents give you permission to use those workout programs if you're under 18 years old, of course. But at the same time, the secrets are all here in my workout vlogs. I talk about it all the time, about training, reps, how frequent should you train, how many sets should you do, how heavy should you go, what range of motion you should use, all these things. It's all on here. It's all for free too, for free. I'm not even charging anything for it, right? And Google doesn't pay me that much, so trust me, it's more like a charity service I'm doing here. But if you want to go further in your training, just start applying some of the things and start feeling your way through it, and don't let your ego guide you. Let your relationship with your body guide you, and understand that this is not an overnight thing. This is going to take you time, but if you choose to be healthy and choose connection to your body and not connection to your insecurity, okay? Insecurity is not going to get you anywhere. It basically will drive you, and sometimes, here's what insecurity will do. Like, say you're feeling really bad about yourself and you go into the gym one day and then you're like, oh, my friend did 315 for a bench press, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to try to do 315 for a bench press. And then maybe it's not the right day for you to do 315, and then you tear a pec, okay? And then you lose your whole bodybuilding career for a period of time. That's what ego does. But if your heart is in it and your insecurity is not in it, but you actually enjoy training, then you will pay attention to what's happening and you won't make stupid decisions in your training. You'll actually train, you'll stay drug-free, and you'll be healthy. And then when you're 40-something years old, you're talking to YouTube like I'm doing, and you're still looking good and you're still in shape. That's the point. Long-term plan. Think big picture. Big picture. Yeah. Yeah, say 19 is nice you don't charge because you probably have no money. Yeah, I get it. I understand. No, Cameron, my training programs cost money, right? Because I have to find a way to subsidize this 30-something hours a week that I'm doing on YouTube, plus the, thousands of dollars worth of equipment I have in order to make the YouTube videos, okay? So basically I had somebody say something interesting the other day, and I know you're not saying this, Cameron, but I'm just going to say this right now. I had somebody the other day, they're talking about, or they said to me, they said, get a real job, okay? And they don't know the other stuff that I do, so, they just made this stupid thing, just get a real job, because I'm on YouTube, so obviously I'm a bum just making videos, right? So, but first of all, people have to understand that there are people out there that make movies for a living. They shoot a picture, they put it together, they put a TV show together, they get paid big money from a television network or from a distributor, and somehow these are legitimate filmmakers. And then there's people that make documentaries. They get paid too. Some of them not so well, some of them well, depending on what they're doing. But that's really exactly what I'm doing. But what I'm doing is I'm making educational content. So just so you guys know, my history is I used to be a personal trainer. I used to charge people anywhere from $50 to $100 a session, and they train with me 3 to 5 days a week, and I would charge them for this, and then I would go to the gym, train them, take them through the paces and everything, and then monthly I'd be making my $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever it is from each client, okay? So what this is me sharing information, guiding people through how to train, how to work out, how to lose body fat, all this kind of stuff. So that's teaching. I also wrote programs for people, all this kind of stuff. So I monetized the teaching in a different way back then. So now I'm monetizing it through video. Now, what's the advantage of this? The advantage of this is that most of the teaching is absolutely free for most of you, because Google pays a small amount of money to the channel. Basically 100,000 views is equivalent to about $100 or $200. So you guys understand 100,000 views is really tough to get. So all of it cannot be monetized through that. Obviously I have to find other ways to monetize all the time and effort that I put in this, and the equipment, as you guys saw with the camera lens kind of getting shattered on the ground, all this kind of stuff. And I have some updates on that. But the bottom line is that this costs money to make. Not only my time, if I'm doing 30-something hours a week and making this kind of stuff, then I'm not spending 30 hours a week digging ditches or doing something else. You know what I'm saying? So there has to be some sort of pay. So that's how it works. So yeah, so basically, the programs are $25 US to $40 US. So they're extremely cheap, okay? So I have them on there cheap for a reason. I'm not here to steal from anybody. I'm just having stuff in there in a structure that I know is useful for people, and I had people asking me, so that's why I put it on there. And like so many times, you guys have actually given me the solution to allow me to continue to do this, so thanks for that. I also started the Patreon account. The reason why I started that was because one of you guys suggested that I do that. Actually, there's 2 or 3 of you, and I was actually kind of backing up. I was like, I'm not interested in doing the Patreon thing, but anyway, I started doing it because this was something you guys suggested. So when you guys suggest things, I actually take it very seriously. So that's why I'm saying, if you ever have any suggestions that you think are honestly something that you want to see or something that you would enjoy or something you would benefit from, I listen to all this stuff for sure. So, can I walk with you? I don't know what that means, but I don't know. Can you walk me? No. Okay, so Kenneth, passion versus money. I think ideally, Kenneth, they're both the same thing, because basically, wouldn't it be nice? Like one thing that really surprises me sometimes is the people that are like doctors that heal people. And some of them, okay, it's arguable whether they're healing people or not, but some of them heal people. Some of them are very good. I have respect for doctor. Oh, my cat's coming in. What the hell? What the hell are you doing here? You're supposed to be outside or something. I guess he's inside. Okay. So, that's funny. I got like a poltergeist cat. I don't know this guy. He's hilarious. This guy's so funny. So anyway, what I'm going to say is, ideally what you'd want to do is you want to help the world or do something positive for other people. You want to serve them in some way, or give something to people, share of yourself in some way, and then somehow you're able to live from doing that. So it's not really about money, not about getting rich or stealing from somebody and run with your little bag of cash and going somewhere and then avoiding humanity. But it'd be nice if the work and you and everything was combined, your relationships and all of it, and it was all one thing, right? So that's really the nice part about creativity. Once it does hit the echelon where it's sustainable, then it allows you to really share your own essence of who you are, and really, it's really a heart-centered money. I guess that's what I'm saying. It's not, okay, get off the camera. It's more like a heart-centered money. It's not this money that's based on just making money and then living a dead existence, just going to work and then going home and then trying to live your life on the weekend, right? And I think that was the way most people live from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and it's starting to fall in a lot of ways because people are seeing the limitation of that. Now, that said, there are some people that are doing construction stuff, and they love that. That is their passion. That is their creativity. So I think those are the people that should be doing that. And I need guys to put mirrors on my wall or to, put my windows in and all this kind of stuff. And they are no less significant than I am because they're doing more of a labor type of job. But the fact is, I think that when people put themselves in a place where they belong, it's a much happier world rather than people all trying to be the same thing, right? So, yeah. Passion versus creativity, I think they can both be the same thing, passion versus money, I mean. I think ideally that's what every human being strives for, is to say, okay, how do I share what it is I love to do and what I really believe in and make some sort of living from that. My dad, I know he was a policeman. He loved being a policeman. A big part of him loved it. And funny enough, I think he wanted to be a PE teacher in his earlier stages, but he just had a hard time getting the money together to go to university because he didn't have a lot of support. But ultimately, he loved training and working out. He would have been an unbelievable PE teacher because he was just such a good guy for everybody that he met. He was such a great role model for me and my brother, and I'm very lucky to have him as my dad. That's what I think every human being is here to. And I think it would be a dishonor to my upbringing to not share what I've realized with the world, because I think I am preventing a tremendous amount of suffering in people, and that's really the most ultimate thing, is that if you can help other people, I think the most profound thing is when somebody reaches into the darkest depths of despair and then pulls you out. I think a tremendous amount of love is manifested in that period of time, and I think that's what we're here for, is to be superheroes to somebody else, So I'm sure that you guys are doing the same in whatever way that you're doing for somebody else, but you're probably being a superhero to someone you don't even know it right now, but you're probably meaning a lot to someone out there, And I think if you could find a way to somehow sustain that way of life, you're given love in order to live. I think there's nothing wrong with that, My cat's on my lap now. Like, it's not hot enough in my garage in the middle of the summer, right? Oh, okay. So Cameron Shaw. Okay, I'll ask you. I'll say this. Okay, what I do, I have a PDF. Okay, when you order the program, it'll come to you, and it has a bunch of writing. You read the first page or two, and I talk about sets and reps and time period and when to go heavy, when not to. Like, say you have lower back pain, all that kind of stuff. And then basically what it does, it outlines the sets and reps and every day of the week. So it gives you like 6 days of the week and the sets and reps that you would be using during those weeks and the exercises. Okay, so say day one you do chest, and then you do this, and then you do that, and then it tells you 2 exercises, tells you exact sets and reps, and you go to close to failure. So the rep range is like, say it's 13 to 15 reps, then you would try to hit failure within that 13 to 15 reps for a certain amount of sets, right? And then I tell you how much rest in between sets too, whether it's 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, that you should do and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that's the question you're asking, but that's what's in there. Cat fur. Nice, easy. As a guy, you saved the child from cancer once, yeah? Nice. Yeah, Jack Ford Mac. I don't think there's going to be too much money on Google because AdSense and stuff, it seems to be going downhill because of all the stuff that was going on with the advertisers pulling out of YouTube and all this. So that's why you see a lot of YouTube people having to go on Patreon and say, hey, please guys, can you support me doing this? Because basically Google started paying about 50 to 70% of what it used to pay, which was very little anyway. So yeah, that's always the struggle is basically to be able to do this platform, but at the same time make it sustainable for all the work that's involved in it, right? So, yeah. You hear my cat? Okay, so anybody else have any more questions? Sorry, I got a cat hair on my head. Yeah. I saved the kitten from falling. Nice. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Well, this guy's like it's funny, actually, it's funny. He's sitting on my lap right now. But these two cats have moved in with us. I think I told you guys this story, but these two cats moved in with us when we lived in the other complex because they got kicked out of their house, so they had nowhere to go. Yeah, so that's how we ended up with two cats. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, just take a look on the website there, Cam. Jack Ford Mac, would I encourage people to start a YouTube channel? Probably not. I wouldn't. I mean, it has to be something that you really enjoy doing. Like, I love photography and I love video and I love making music and stuff, so that's why I do it. But most people that start YouTube channels are looking at it as a business venture and saying, okay, this is how I'm going to make money. And I would say it's actually probably a slow way to make money. It's not the same as back in 2006 or something. When people started the channel back then, it was easy to get going, but now there's so many people. There are so many people, like, because now a person could upload a video just from their phone. They don't have to have editing systems. They don't have to have cameras. They can just do it all from phone and stuff. So, hey, Meryl, how you doing? So I would say that I wouldn't really recommend it because a lot of people are doing it to try to make some sort of living, and at some point you'll start to say, well, geez, this isn't very sustainable, so it's a lot of work. So it has to be something that you like to do. If you like to do it, then by all means, right? But yeah, I would say it's not the same as it used to be, because it used to be a very easy way to be able to make a living, but at the same time help people if you had something that was worth saying. But now it's you got to be an expert of everything now. It's gotten a little bit crazy now, I think. Yeah. Yeah, and you know the sad part is it's the same thing on YouTube like it was like it was in the movie industry and the television. It's like negativity seems to sell much more, so you get guys like Vegan Gains and whatever just pissing on people and treating them like crap, and then of course he gets a lot of subscribers from this. And you honestly can't do that in life if you want to have a nice life. I mean, but of course on YouTube and media it works. It gets a lot of attention. It gets your name out there and everything, and you start to basically attract attention. But that type of attention is not necessarily the type of attention that most people, I think, that are sane would want. I mean, I don't want that type of attention. I mean, what's the point, right? So I think a positive life is more important. You don't want to sell your soul, to make a couple bucks. Like, what's the point? So yeah, I'm glad that I have the people on this channel that are on here. And I think that I've done pretty good at culling the herd quite a bit, because there's quite a few guys that were coming on here at first that were just nothing but negativity, and I just got rid of them. So I think it's nice, though. Once you get a nice community, it can be very rewarding, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I say 19. If people put up good content, people will start to follow. It takes time, yeah. I've been on this channel for 5 years, though, and I only got 7,000 subscribers, so you can see how much it's going to be. Paulo, oh great, Paulo, nice to hear that you'll be a little Patreon. That's nice. I will be doing, just so you guys know, like Patreon will be coming out with some live features for live video, and I will be then doing exclusive live video. Yes, this is my home gym, Bill. I will be doing exclusive live video just on Patreon. I won't be doing it on YouTube anymore, if that happens on Patreon. So that way I can kind of, although tonight's been awesome, a lot of times when I've gotten on live on YouTube, you get a lot of trolls and stuff, a lot of different types of things going on. So most likely trolls aren't going to pay money to support a channel if they just want to slander a person. So I would think anyway. So I think it's a good way of kind of getting rid of some of that negativity too. Yeah. Yeah. I say, yeah. How'd you find me? I say. Yeah, Blobble, good luck with your workout there, buddy. Okay, so I had a question up here from Merle. Hey Jason, I'm 50 and noticed that I'm a bit softer in my muscles and gaining seems harder than when I was younger. Have you noticed the same as you get older? Are you around 40? Yeah, I'm 43 there, Merle. You know, the thing is, gaining, first of all, when I was 28, 29 years old, I didn't really gain muscle anymore either. It was tough because it wasn't the age thing. It was just that once you get close to your genetic peak, it's a lot harder to gain muscle. But yeah, I think it depends on also your injuries and stuff. Depends on your eating, depends on your lifestyle choices. But yeah, technically speaking, as you get older, it's supposed to be a little bit harder. But just so you know, I did train a couple guys that were in their 50s and they did unbelievable and they did make a lot of gains. So you just might be at a certain level where it's just hard to make gains no matter what age you're at, right? Okay, as a sidebar suggestion, oh nice, okay, so I got suggested, nice. Picker dinner, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, no, I know, it's UK in the morning. I jumped online really late. It's like, right now it's like 2:10, 2 o'clock, or 2:12 actually, in the morning. And I jumped on really late just to make sure that some guys in Europe and people all over the place can actually see me, so I haven't had a chance to jump on the live chat too much, so. Yeah, Paulo, well, it'd be nice to have you on that Patreon there, big guy. So any support helps, you know. You can donate as little as $1 a month on Patreon if you want. There's $5, $10, $20, and $100 and more. And with the higher things, I'll give out a free session if people want to do a consultation with me and stuff. So yeah, I'm trying to do my best to make it kind of worth it or valuable to you, right? 10 in the morning UK, yeah. Yeah, it's time for me to go to bed, I think. I'm pretty tired right now, as you guys probably see. Got a zombie in front of the camera here. Yeah. But yeah, no, keep giving me feedback, guys. So I really appreciate it. Just keep letting me know. Portugal, beautiful. Paulo, Portugal. My parents actually want to go to Portugal this year. They were thinking about going. They want to do some bike riding and stuff, so they were looking at doing that. You'll have to let me know where you are. Okay. Thanks, Quicksilver. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, sweet dreams. I'll keep watching. Nice, Jack. Yeah, well, it's nice to see you back here, Jack. I mean, come on, man. You can't take off on me like that. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for tuning in, eh? And yeah, I'll keep on putting up content. I'm going to try and do it every day, and I'm going to start, based on what you guys are saying in this live chat here, I'm going to start doing a little bit more of the day in the life type vlog stuff. So I'll see what other kind of new content or stuff that I can include in there. And I will be making a leg extension video, and I will be making a you know, cheat rep video, and also a secret to training triceps that I haven't included to you guys yet, that I just kind of stumbled across the other day that I've been doing instinctually, but I haven't actually, okay, my cat, I'll show you my cat before I leave, but I have been instinctually training my triceps a certain way and doing something to help that mind muscle connection to help get a deeper burn, and I thought, okay, this is actually a relevant thing to teach you guys, and I'm going to do that, so I will do that. Okay, yeah, I wish I had some music, eh? 1 second, I'll bring my cat. Come on here. Here he is. He's huge. See how big this guy is? He's like totally bulking. Here, look at the camera. Huh? Come on. So funny. He likes to go. Yeah, you too. Yeah, he likes to go down in the crawl space to see if there's any ghosts down there. So it's pretty funny. Great. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot, eh? Yeah, take care, man. Blessings to you guys, and yeah, have some great workouts and whatever. And I hope you're enjoying the life and everything. And yeah, great. All right, Gary. Take care, buddy. All right, have a good one.